On day 1, I spawned in as a mighty dinosaur. Well, not really. I was pretty small and only had 4 hearts. I'm just a baby. I looked around and noticed there weren't any other dinosaurs around. And then I noticed I was in an enclosure with tall walls. Hey, that's no fair. I want to run around and be free. I ran around looking for a way out. I couldn't find anything. Just then, I heard a bell go off and I saw some food being lowered into my cage. I was hungry, but I still needed to find a way out. The food lowered to the ground and I ate all of it. Then I got a brilliant idea. I held onto the hook as it was brought back up to the edge of the wall. I jumped on the edge, free from my enclosure. Then I jumped off and ran toward the jungle. Dinosaurs are meant to be free. As I was running, I saw a human in a car trying to chase after me. He started shooting at me. Ah! I managed to jump over a large tree that had fallen down, but the car couldn't get through. One human threw his weapon down in anger and yelled at me.
We'll get you back. Mark my words.
What a weird guy. I found a little cave and decided to hide out there for the night. I would go looking around for more dinosaurs in the morning. On day 2, I woke up feeling very hungry. Man, I'm gonna need to find more food if I want to survive out here. I quickly began chopping down some trees and managed to make a crafting table. With that, I made some wood tools. I feel a bit more prepared now. I explored further in the jungle and found some sheep. I hurried and got their meat before they could run away. I really needed to gain my strength back. Yummy. As I was enjoying my food, I heard a snap of a twig. I turned and saw a small ocelot trying to hide behind some bushes. Wow. Hey, do you want some food? The ocelot peeked out and slowly came and grabbed some meat from me.
Thank you.
Of course.
What are you?
I'm a dinosaur.
You won't eat me, will you?
No, I won't. Have you never seen a dinosaur before? The ocelot shook his head.
I know that park over there has dinosaurs, but I've never seen one until today.
Interesting. I wondered what that park was all about and why there weren't any other dinosaurs on the island.
Thanks again for the food. You take care of yourself.
You too. He ran off into the jungle. I need to figure out what's going on here. On day 3, I gathered some more materials to make a little base. I knew that the humans would probably be back, and I wanted to be ready for them. Once the base was finished, I went out to look for some food. Boy, am I hungry again. I managed to find a bunch of sheep and tried to herd them back to my base. But then, a bunch of alligators came and started attacking me. Get back, you nasties! I used my sword and my pure strength to fight them off, and before I knew it, they were all gone. Just then, I felt a surge of power, and I grew into a teenage T-Rex. Hey, I have more hearts now. I finished gathering the sheep and led them back to my base. I hurried and set up a pen for them. What a good day. On days 4 to 5, I made my way back to the park to scout it out. Maybe I could learn more if I watched what the humans were doing. I was searching around and found some rusty shears. These might come in handy. Just then, I saw a bunch of humans driving toward me. I ran through some rocks and dirt hills to lose them, but they just kept following me. I roared at them, and the force almost toppled their car over. That's new. This caused one human to fall out of the car. The driver didn't stop and they left him. He got out his weapon and started shooting darts at me. Hey, stop it! I roared again, and the force made him fall over. I was starting to feel the effects of the dart. Ouch! I felt pretty woozy. What was that? The human pulled out a walkie-talkie.
Dr. Harland, I have subdued test subject A. Come to this location to retrieve him.
I couldn't let the humans take me, especially not this Dr. Harland. He sounded like bad news. I mustered up my strength and smacked the human with my tail, sending him flying over a cliffside. I gotta get out of here! The sleeping dart definitely was doing its job, but I managed to get back home before completely passing out. I'll have to find that doctor tomorrow. On day 6 to 8, I woke up, still feeling a little groggy. That wasn't super fun. I need to be sure not to get shot again. I went out and grabbed some food before heading out to gather more supplies. I needed some better weapons to defend myself. I went further into the jungle and spotted a small mountain. I started to mine out some of the materials and set up a crafting table to make myself a new stone sword, pickaxe, and shovel. Nice! I was about to make my way further up the mountain when I saw some little jaguars hanging out. They're kinda cute. But that was short-lived because they started to jump and bite at me. Come on, guys, I'm not food. They didn't back down, so I used my new sword to fight them off. It only took a minute before I defeated them all. Thank goodness for that. Otherwise, I would look like Swiss cheese. I ate some food to heal, and I headed further into the jungle. On days 9 to 10, I journeyed past the trees to the edge of the island. It was beautiful. Too bad there were humans trying to hunt me down. Just then, I heard a screeching of tires and saw a car coming towards me. Wow, I was just thinking about the humans, and then they show up. Maybe I have superpowers. I started to think of it raining sheep and nothing. Well, it was worth a shot. I started to run away from the car, but they caught up to me pretty quick. The guy I had seen earlier who had thrown down his weapon was inside. He must have been Dr. Harland.
You can't run away from me now. You're mine.
Go away! The car soon caught up to me, and the humans had me cornered. Ah! A heavy iron cage made out of chains pinned me down.
Thank goodness for that tracker. We didn't realize it was attached to you until later because Jones never came back. But at least he did his job right.
Dr. Harland plucked something off my leg. It looked like a dart, but then I noticed a little blinking beacon. That human, Jones, must have shot me with a tracker a few days ago. I felt so silly. I don't belong with you. I belong out in the wild. Dr. Harland just laughed. I was confused and desperate. I needed to get out. Just then, I felt a whoosh of air, and part of the cage was broken. I saw a blur of pink whizzing past me.
Run, Zozo!
I ran, following the pink blur back toward my base. When we finally stopped, I realized the pink blur wasn't just a blur. It was another T-Rex. The dinosaur jumped down from behind cover and scared me. I knew there were other dinosaurs on the island. I'm Zozo. The dinosaur smiled at me.
I'm Zoe. I'm your sister.
Sister? Wait, back up. What?
We're twins. I was put in a different enclosure though. I heard that you escaped, and everyone was freaking out, so I took my chance when they went looking for you and climbed out as well. They really need to work on their security system.
But hey, good for us though, right?
Right.
So, you're super fast? Zoe nodded her head and zoomed in a circle, demonstrating her speed.
What can you do?
I don't know. Am I supposed to be able to do something? Zoe looked a little uncomfortable.
No, not really.
Oh, wait! I can move things with my roar. It's like a sonic power. I showed it off.
That's really cool.
Do all dinosaurs have powers like us?
No, I guess we are just special.
Zoe seemed like she wasn't telling me something. I was going to ask her what she knew, but then I heard her stomach growl. Hey, how about I get you some food? You must be starving.
That'd be great, actually. Thanks.
We went to the farm and ate until we were both full. Zoe must have not eaten for a long time because she had double of what I had. How about you live here? It's safe, there's plenty of food, and I'd love for you to stay with me. Zoe looked really happy about that, and she readily agreed.
Sounds like a plan.
On days 11 to 12, I made an area for Zoe on the base. I worked hard to give her everything she would need in order to be comfortable. Soon, it was all ready to go. She seemed really happy to have found me, and I was happy to be reunited with the sister I never knew I had. I decided to go exploring a little bit to improve the base and the weapons that I had. While I was out, I came across a flock of birds nesting on some stones. They were beautiful looking woodpeckers. Hey, could I have some of that stone? They seemed friendly enough, but then out of nowhere they started pecking at me. Seriously? I tried to smack them, but they kept flying and then dive bombing me. I need to get out of here. I ran into the trees, hoping to get some coverage. They stopped attacking, but I really needed that stone. What am I gonna do? I looked around the jungle and noticed some long vines hanging from the trees. I had an idea. I gathered some of the vines, a couple small sticks, and a bunch of rocks. This should do the trick. I snuck back to the rock formation and attacked them with my new weapon, a slingshot. Take that! It worked perfectly, and before I knew it, all the birds were gone. Nice! And I have some food to take back to Zoe. I gathered the bird meat and started mining out the rocks. It took a while, but I finally got enough to make some new furnaces. This is awesome! I headed back to the base and showed Zoe my new weapon. She was super impressed and even asked if I could make her one. I happily agreed. She was super excited and shot with the slingshot towards the lake. Once that was done, I used some wooden logs to build a wall surrounding the base. It was all starting to come together. On days 13 to 15, I had a weird dream. I was back in the park, but it looked like I was in a lab of some sort. People were poking and prodding at me. I saw Zoe and she was chained down. Let her go! Then the dream changed and Dr. Harland was there. He was presenting us to a large crowd of humans. He had trapped us in enclosures and we were chained. The humans stared and laughed at us. It was horrible. I woke from the dream with a start. Whoa, that was terrible. I went to go find Zoe. I told her about the dream and asked her what it meant. She hesitated.
We are lab experiments, Zozo. We aren't natural dinosaurs. Dr. Harland grew us in the lab, giving us special abilities.
Why would he do that?
He's not just a doctor. He also owns this entire park over there. He genetically engineers dinosaurs for human entertainment.
That's awful.
But you and I are special. He made us specifically for a new exhibit he's working on.
This was a lot to take in. We were being hunted by an angry doctor and his goons. It felt like the odds were definitely against us. On days 16 to 19, I woke up to find that Zoe wasn't in the base. Zoe! I looked everywhere and called out to her, but I couldn't find her. I wonder where she went. I looked around the entrance and noticed some footprints. They looked a lot like mine, but were smaller. These must be Zoe's footprints. I followed them, leading away into the jungle. They stopped at the mouth of a cave. Oh no, I hope Zoe's okay. I tried to quietly creep in the cave, my slingshot at the ready. I heard some muffled screaming, along with some maniacal laughter. That doesn't sound good. I went further down, and I saw Zoe. She was all tied up. There was also a monkey tied up next to her. Around them were a bunch of big, hairy spiders. Oh, gross! I charged, shooting rocks as I went. The spiders looked alarmed and tried to scurry away, but I managed to fight them all off. I hurried and freed Zoe just as she yelled at me.
Zozo, look out!
I turned around, and there was the biggest spider I had ever seen in my life. Granted, I was only a few days old, but still.
You're taking my dinner.
That's my sister. She's not food. I slung some rocks at the huge spider before charging at him. He smacked me with his legs, and I was nearly down to my last heart when I remembered my roar. I let out a big roar. The force made the spider fall over. I then attacked with my tail and weapons, and within no time, he was gone. Victory is mine! All of a sudden, I felt power course through my body, and I leveled up into an adult T-Rex. Nice! I had way more hearts, and my tail could swing faster now. I helped finish freeing Zoe and the monkey.
Thanks for rescuing me. I'm Crew.
I'm Zozo. I looked over at Zoe, and she was shaking. Are you okay?
That was so scary. I went out this morning before you got up, and I was ambushed by those spiders. I tried to roar, but they tied my mouth closed before I had a chance to call for you.
I'm glad I found you. Being spider food wasn't really a part of my grand plan. Zoe laughed and Crew joined us.
You're from that park over there. I knew there were dinosaurs, but nobody has seen any.
Yeah, we managed to escape Doctor Harland, but he is kind of crazy. He wants to bring us back so he can make money off of us and all the other dinosaurs.
That's awful. How many more dinosaurs are there?
We don't know, but they don't belong in there. We need to help them escape. Crew thought for a minute.
I might be able to help out with that.
Really? How?
This island has been inhabited by dinosaurs before, a really long time ago. There was a T-Rex like you guys that had a special item that could ward off the humans.
That sounds awesome. Do you know where it is?
No, sorry. Legend says it's on the island somewhere, but nobody has found it.
This was good news. Maybe we could make the humans leave for good. On days 20 to 22, Crew came with us to the base. He seemed to really like us and wasn't scared like most animals were. He was also really funny and would ride on our back sometimes. Once we got back to the base, we tried to get settled in, but then a bunch of jaguars showed up, trying to get our sheep. Hey, there's enough food for all of us. You don't need to steal from us. They didn't listen and just continued to attack. With our combined strength, the jaguars were gone in no time. We made some improvements to the base, including a treehouse for Crew to hang out in. He really seemed to like it. Hey Zoe, would you want to help me with something?
Yeah, sure. What is it?
I want to make a statue. I want the humans to know that they can't mess with us, and I want all the dinosaurs to know that there is hope to be free.
That sounds awesome, Zozo.
We chatted about the design and started on the base of the statue. Can you tell what it's going to be? Also, if you like what you've seen so far, don't forget to subscribe. We love having you here on our adventures. On days 23 to 26, I woke up to the base being attacked again. They broke through the wall. I guess the jaguars had some reinforcements and didn't like that they couldn't get to our sheep. Come on, guys, really? Zoe and Crew joined me, and with their help, we defeated the jaguars in no time. I noticed that one of them had dropped something, so I picked it up. It was an iron sword. Whoa, neat! I swung it around and nearly jabbed Zoe with it.
Hey, watch it!
Sorry! I looked around the base for a minute. Maybe we need to make some changes to the base so that it's safer. Zoe agreed and we went to work. We worked on expanding the walls and making our own areas larger. We ran out of supplies pretty quickly, so I headed out to gather some more materials. I also would really like some more iron so that I can have some better weapons. I explored for a minute before finding a large cave. I delved deeper and deeper until I found some iron ore. Perfect! Just then, a bunch of bats came out of nowhere and tried to swarm me. Ah! I hurried and started smacking them with my new sword. The last few that evaded me, I shot with my slingshot. Nice! I really like having a sword. I mined the rest of the iron and hurried to craft myself an iron pickaxe, axe, and an iron helmet. This will be perfect. I left, still feeling accomplished. I had a new weapon and a new tool. I felt like I was on top of the world. On days 27 to 31, I went to Crew to chat with him about the special item that would help me defeat the humans. He was chilling in his treehouse. I was too big to fit, so we just talked from a distance.
Well, the legend says that thousands of years ago, many dinosaurs lived on the island in peace. Then one day, the dinosaurs saw a boat approaching. They had no idea what it was, so they didn't fear it. But then the humans landed, and they began to immediately attack the dinosaurs. They took over the island and started to chop down all the trees and pollute the land. One T-Rex, his name was Ignatius the Great. He sacrificed his most prized possession to the volcano gods in order to gain the legendary item to ward off the humans.
What was the item exactly?
It was an amulet that granted him awesome power to grow to 10 times his size.
Whoa, that is awesome!
Right? So he used the amulet to defeat the humans and protect the dinosaurs.
So what happened to him and the amulet?
I'm not sure exactly. That's all I know.
What an interesting story. I hoped that it was true. It could be the answer to all my problems. On days 32 to 35, I thought some more about what Crew said. I really need to find that amulet. And if it's on the island, how hard can it be to find it? I decided to look around for something significant that could possibly help me. While I was venturing further into the island, I came upon a group of ocelots. One of them recognized me. Hey, it's that dinosaur that helped me get food. He ran up to me and started talking to me. His family seemed a little reluctant, so they stayed further back. What are you doing? I'm looking for the amulet that was lost on the island. Do you know anything about it? My little ocelot friend shook his head, but his dad piped up.
That amulet corrupts all who hold it. You don't want it.
Why do you say that?
The dinosaur that held it, Ignatius the Great, began to use the power to unfairly rule all of the dinosaurs. The volcano gods were angry, so they willed the volcano to erupt, taking out all the dinosaurs.
That's awful.
Well, that's what happens when you mess with power you shouldn't have. I couldn't agree more.
I flipped around to see Doctor Harland. How did you find me?
It's not that big of an island. I knew I would find you eventually.
I tried to run away, but Dr. Harland shot a dart at me. It got me right in the leg, and I immediately felt woozy again. Oh no, I can't pass out again. Everything was starting to get fuzzy. It's okay, we'll take care of you. Then everything went dark. On days 36 to 39, I woke up back in my house. Hey, how did I get back here? I went outside and saw the ocelot family hanging out with Zoe.
Look who's awake.
My little ocelot friend ran up to me. Zozo, you're okay. What happened? Dr. Harland shot you and then you passed out. We worked together to move you. We met your sister outside. She had been looking for you and was worried. She helped us to carry you in. Wow, you guys are the best. Thanks. No problem. I don't even know all of your names. The ocelot officially introduced himself as Marty. The rest of his family had M names as well. Melissa, Mo, Miley, you get it.
Now that you're feeling better, how about we make some room for our new friends?
Sounds like a plan. Zoe and I worked on making an enclosure for the ocelots. I could tell they were scared to be living out on their own. By the time we finished, I could tell they were really happy about it. I decided to talk more with Marty's dad, Marvin, about the legendary amulet. I asked him where it might be, and he shook his head.
All I know is that the legend says it was buried with Ignatius somewhere on the north side of the island. That's where his home was. Everyone claims that he was wearing the amulet when the volcano erupted.
Interesting. I would have to travel a long way to go looking for it. But before I went back out, I got to work on the statue. It was coming along pretty great. I was excited to finish it. So, was your guess right? On days 40 to 43, I went out to go looking for more iron since I hadn't found that many deposits nearby. I went north and found a pretty big cave. As I entered, I saw a bunch of snakes slithering around. Not today! I quickly shot them with my slingshot, hit them with my sword, and also used my roar to send them flying into the lava. I was starting to feel really powerful. I journeyed deeper, and sure enough, I found a huge deposit of iron as well as coal. I made myself a little crafting table and set up a camp for myself in the cave. With the iron I had collected, I made myself all new tools and weapons. I am the mightiest of T-Rexes! Nobody can stop me now! On days 44 to 49, I journeyed to the north side of the island in search of the amulet. I was tromping through the jungle when I heard a scream. I snuck forward to see a bunch of alligators who had trapped a toucan. It looked like they were about to eat her. Hey, stay away from her! I tromped out from my hiding place and the alligators snapped at me. I guess they didn't like me intruding on their dinner plans. They started to attack me, but with my sonic roar and powerful tail, they were gone in an instant.
Thank you, mister.
I'm Zozo.
I'm Greta. I thought for sure I was going to be alligator food.
Well, I'm glad I was around.
I've been hearing about the dinosaurs on the island. What brings you over here?
I'm looking for the lost amulet of Ignatius the Great.
Oh, that's a tricky one, that is. It's supposedly here on the north side of the island, but...
What?
Well, it's kind of complicated to explain. I think it would be easier if I just showed you.
Okay, sounds like a plan to me. On days 50 to 53, I followed Greta further into the north side of the island. We were about to enter a clearing when Greta stopped me. Is that chanting?
Yeah.
I looked through the trees and saw a temple of some sort. There were a bunch of other toucans gathered around something on a pedestal. Hey, they have the amulet!
Wait, Zozo!
I didn't listen, and I tromped through the trees toward the birds. They immediately squealed in delight and started bowing. What's going on?
Oh, great and mighty one! You have heard our call, and you have come to retrieve what you have left behind.
I looked on the pedestal and noticed that it wasn't an amulet. It was is that a foot?
Yes, great Ignatius, it is your foot. We have been saving it for you.
I looked behind me and saw Greta was super embarrassed. These must have been her family members. The crazy side of the family, no doubt. Yes, I have been missing my foot. Thank you for taking such good care of it. They continued bowing as I went up and grabbed the foot. It was definitely from a T-Rex. My humble toucans, where did you find my foot? One hopped forward eagerly.
Oh, yes, we found it over here.
We journeyed on a path leading toward a large rock formation.
The foot was just sitting right here, oh holy one.
Thanks. Do you mind if I look around?
Do as you wish, great one.
The toucan left, and Greta flew up a moment later to rest on my shoulder.
I should have warned you. I don't come around here anymore because they are all a bunch of crazies. I mean, who worships a foot?
I just laughed. It's fine. It was exciting to say the least. I began digging at the rock formation, and sure enough, I found more bones inside. This must be Ignatius. Yes. We managed to uncover all the bones, but there wasn't an amulet in sight. If he wasn't wearing it, where did it go?
All the stories said he was wearing it.
This was beginning to feel like a wild goose chase. I gathered all the bones, and we headed back toward the base. On days 54 to 57, Greta and I made it back to the base. She didn't want to be with her crazy family, understandably, so we made a little nook for her. She seemed to really like it.
Hey, Zozo.
It was Crew. He came over to me. What's up?
I'm running a little low on food. Do you think you could grab me some more bananas? There's a tree nearby with some in it, but there are also some spiders in there.
No problem. I went to the tree Crew was talking about and immediately saw the swarm of spiders. Yuck! I used my slingshot to make them fall out of the tree, and then I attacked them. They were no match for my roar, and soon enough, they were gone. Sweet! Now Crew can have all the bananas he could want. I used my roar to make the bananas fall out of the tree, and I gathered them for my friend. He was ecstatic to see all the food I had gotten for him.
Wow, thanks, Zozo. Wait here for just a minute.
Crew went to work. In his treehouse, he started mixing a bunch of ingredients together in the mixing basin. And before I knew it, he had a big loaf of banana bread for me. Where did you even learn to bake? And where did you even get a mixer?
I have my ways. Here, hope you like it.
I ate it, and it was actually delicious. Yum. Thanks, Crew. He jumped up and down in delight.
No problem.
On days 58 to 62, I worked on the statue for a little bit. I was nearly done when I heard a scream from down below. The base was being attacked by some humans. Oh no! I hurried to run down to the base and noticed that all my friends had been shot with sleeping darts. The humans were trying to take them away. "You let my friends go!" I roared with all my might, and the humans focused their attention on me. They tried to shoot me, but I dodged them. I managed to take out a few of the guards and then went to chase the rest away. They got scared of me and ran off. Good riddance. I hurried to help my friends get back to their homes when I noticed that Zoe was missing. Zoe! I looked outside the base and I saw her lying on the ground. She didn't look too good. Zoe, let's get you inside so you can sleep.
They didn't hit me with a sleeping arrow, Zozo. They hit me with a real bullet.
What? Why?
I heard one of Dr. Harland's men say that they just needed one dinosaur for the exhibit. You. So I charged him, and he shot me.
Oh no. Zoe!
It's okay. The hunter that shot me, Brett, said that they were going to get the amulet from its secret hiding place.
Zoe weakly handed me a map.
They dropped this. Hurry, Zozo. Take care of the rest of the dinosaurs. Protect the island.
And with that, my sister died. No! On days 63 to 66, I used the map that Zoe gave me to track down Brett. They won't get away with this. I traveled to the north side of the island again, past the temple and down into a large cave. There didn't seem to be anybody around, but then I saw a pool of water with a large glowing squid in it. There were a bunch of humans attacking him. Stop hurting innocent creatures! The men jumped in surprise as I attacked them. In only a matter of seconds, they were defeated.
Thank you, Ancient One.
Of course.
I knew you would all be back someday. It was only right that the dinosaurs ruled this island again.
Do you know where the amulet is? The squid nodded and pointed down further into the tunnel.
I'm afraid the rest of the humans have already started heading down that way, though.
How did they know to look for you?
Dr. Harland was my friend. When he came to the island, he discovered me and studied me. I told him of the amulet in the cave, but he wasn't interested in it at the time. It wasn't until recently that he wanted to retrieve it. I guess he didn't want a chance you finding it and overpowering him. He ordered his goons to destroy me.
I'm so sorry. That must have been heartbreaking.
You can't trust those humans. They only want power. They'll do anything to get it.
I'll go retrieve it.
Good luck to you, friend.
And with that, the squid swam further into the pool and disappeared. On days 67 to 70, I went deeper into the cave, which then opened up into a huge underground chasm. This must have been Ignatius's lair. Then I saw Brett and some other goons grabbing a chest from an alcove. That doesn't belong to you. Brett dropped his chest in surprise. He turned and sneered at me.
It don't belong to you neither.
I charged, ready to strike. The men got out their weapons, ready to shoot.
Don't hurt him, just put him to sleep. The doc wants to save him for later.
I managed to dodge all the darts, and I used all of my strength to swing and hit the humans. I finished off his men, and then went to attack him. Brett looked a little uneasy as I got closer, so then he pulled out his dart shooter.
I don't want to hurt you, dinosaur, but I will if I have to.
He fired his weapon, and it wasn't sleeping darts. It was a stun blaster. Ouch! Electricity pulsed through me and I fell down, hard.
Just give up. It'll be easier.
Then I blacked out. On days 71 to 74, I woke up, my bones and body aching. Then I remembered, the chest! I looked in the alcove and it wasn't there. Shoot! Brett must have taken it while I was out. I felt awful as I made my way out of the cave and up into the jungle again. It was super slow going to get back home, but eventually I made it. On days 75 to 78, I entered the base. I was so exhausted and just wanted to be alone, but my friends came running up to me.
Zozo, you're okay. We were asleep, and when we woke up, you were gone. Where's Zoe?
I told them all about what happened, and they stood in shock.
We are so sorry, Zozo. Zoe was a really good friend.
I felt awful. I told them I needed to rest, and I went into my house for a little while. It wasn't until I heard screaming and shouting. I hurried to run outside, only to find Brett in the base, trying to shoot my friends again. What are you doing here?
I need your blood, dinosaur. Give it to me.
Ew, gross, no! I roared at Brett, causing him to fly backwards into the wall. I smacked him with my tail and sword, easily defeating him. I then felt a surge of power, and I leveled up into a full-size T-Rex. My roar could demolish anything, and I had tons of hearts.
What did he mean he needed your blood?
I have no idea, but that was definitely creepy. I looked and saw that Brett had dropped some things. I was hoping it was the amulet, but it was just a key card and a painting. The painting had some glyphs of humans shooting a dinosaur with a dart shooter and then growing to be huge. Have you seen anything like this?
No, it just looks like something the old humans must have left. They probably just thought that defeating a dinosaur would grant them power.
I guess Brett thought so too. Probably why he came back to hurt me.
Creepy.
I looked at the key card a little bit more closely. It had the park symbol on it and a label saying Site B. What is Site B?
The park is Site B. Site A is the abandoned site down the hill.
There's two?
Yeah, Site A was abandoned because it was too small. Now it's just storage.
There must be something important in there if Brett has a key card to it.
Must be.
On day 79 to 84, I traveled to Site A to go exploring. I was hoping the key card for Site B would work here too. As I approached the front gate, I took out the key card, put it in the key card scanner, and the gate clicked open. Nice! I followed the path and arrived at the main building that rose through the jungle, high into the sky. I slowly went inside the building and saw lots of boxes and cobwebs. The place looked like a mess. This place has been completely abandoned. I explored the building and saw an interesting roller coaster through the window. It goes straight through a dinosaur skeleton exhibit. What in the world was happening in this place? All of a sudden, I heard a noise from a back room. I approached and looked through the window, only to see an alligator looking through the cabinets. I wonder what she's doing. Then she saw me and charged at the glass. She then opened the door and ran towards me. I quickly backed up and she snapped her teeth at me.
What are you doing here?
I'm looking to see if there was anything that could help me defeat Doctor Harland here. What are you doing here? The alligator looked at me. She paused for a moment, then started speaking slowly.
I'm also trying to get to Dr. Harland. He's been running tests on my family in order to make new dinosaurs. I need to rescue him.
We can work together. Have you found anything useful here?
Yeah, there's some sort of weapon downstairs, but it's too heavy for me to carry. Maybe you can carry it.
I started to go down the stairs toward the control room. As I was about to enter, I felt something push me down the stairs. It was the alligator. Hey, what was that for?
You aren't supposed to be here, dinosaur. You've been extinct for years, and now you just expect to rule the whole island? The alligators are the real predators here.
She snapped her teeth at me and almost got me. Hey, I'm just trying to survive here. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. She ignored me and kept snapping her teeth. I backed up and then used my roar to push her back. I hit her a couple more times, and then after only a minute, she was gone. I wonder if there was anything down here or if she was just lying. I looked around the room, and sure enough, it was mostly just trash. Then I noticed a trapdoor. I was too big to go all the way down, but I did notice some diamonds and other materials, but they were out of reach. I looked around, and there were a few more diamonds just laying in the corner of the room. These will definitely come in handy. I grabbed them and headed back to the base. I would definitely need some help scouting out the rest of the secret room. On days 85 to 89, I went back to chat with my friends about what I had found.
Wow, I knew that the alligators on the island were super territorial, but that's just crazy.
What weirdos.
I know, right? But would one of you come with me back to the room? I can't fit down there, but I would like to see if there is anything else of value.
Yeah, sure.
Crew and I headed back to Side A, and he checked out the secret room. He came up in a few minutes, super excited.
There's a tunnel, and it looks like it leads into the Site B park.
This was great news. Now I just needed to figure out a way to fit down there. Crew explored some more and said there was a bigger tunnel opening near the river. That's perfect! I'll go in that way once I'm ready. On days 90 to 94, the monkey gave me the diamonds and I used them to craft myself some better weapons. I didn't really have enough diamonds to make armor that would fit me, so I just made weaker diamond armor with a few chunks missing from the armor pieces. It would be enough to cover my weak spots. I tried it all on, and I actually felt really cool. Not only am I a strong dinosaur with superpowers, I now also have some protection. I knew that I was one step closer to defeating Dr. Harland and freeing all the dinosaurs. On days 95 to 97, I finished the statue. It is in honor of Zoe. As I looked up at the finished statue, I felt a sense of hope and strength. I knew that I would get the amulet and fulfill my destiny. On day 98, I said goodbye to all my friends before heading out. Take care, you guys. I'll be back. I promise. They cheered me on as I left the base and headed out to the park. On the way there, I noticed a plane overhead, and it was dragging a sign in the sky. Subscribe? Hey, that sounds like a good idea. You should do that so you can follow along on some of our other adventures. On day 99, I went to the river where the tunnel opening was. I broke the bars and headed inside toward the park. It was dark for a little while, but then I started to see light. The tunnel led to an enclosure with all kinds of other dinosaurs. I approached the gate and roared to break it open.
Whoa, it's the T-Rex!
They all gathered around me.
Are you gonna free us?
Yes, this tunnel leads to the outside world. I'll go open up all the other enclosures so that we can all be free. The dinosaurs whooped in delight, and then a bunch of darts started flying. The humans came out of nowhere and started shooting at us. Run, you'll be safe! They all started running into the tunnels as I roared at the humans. I trudged through the park, defeating the guards easily. I continued to the other side of the park. On day 100, I was loose in Jurassic Park. There were a bunch of humans running around in panic. I tried not to step on them. I just wanted to find Doctor Harland. Then, out of nowhere came a bunch of humans with weapons. They shot, but I dodged and roared and swung my tail at them, sending them flying in different directions. They quickly ran away, and I continued through the park to the big building in the center. I smashed through the doors, and sitting on a pedestal was the amulet of Ignatius. I went to grab it, but I felt a dart hit me. I flipped around and saw Dr. Harland with a large shooter.
Come quietly, and I won't hurt you.
No! I grabbed the amulet and felt a huge surge of power. I turned into a giant T-Rex with massive teeth and a mighty tail.
So be it.
Dr. Harland backed up into the lab and closed the door. I heard some whirring, and then he appeared in a large robotic suit.
I didn't want to hurt you, but you have ruined my park. You are a liability now.
He shot at me with some tough shooters, but they didn't hurt me as much since I was so powerful. However, he soon started throwing bombs at me, which were not so easy to avoid. We exchanged blows, and I almost thought that Dr. Harland was about to end me. Ah, that hurt! Ha! I dodged that one. You will not take me down that easily. Take that!
Ah, you dirty lizard! That hurts!
But I was also doing some damage. I could tell some of my roars were hurting his mech because sparks started flying. Finally, his mech started smoking. Now I was doing some real damage. Then I used my sonic roar and sent Dr. Harland flying. The suit crumbled into pieces, and Dr. Harland was finally defeated. I made my way throughout the rest of the park, releasing all the dinosaurs back into the wild. They all seemed super happy. Once we all reached my base, I saw my friends cheering for me. Life was back to the way it should be. On day 1, I spawned in as Mario. Hey, it's me, Mario! Except I was just a little baby. I only had 3 hearts. I looked around and saw Princess Peach. She was also just a little baby. Hello, Princess. Do you know where we are?
I have no idea. It looks like some kind of forest.
I looked around and all of the trees close to us looked like they had been burned down. The grass was dead too. We were basically in a little crater. Huh, that's odd. Just then, a bunch of Koopa Troopas came out from the trees and grabbed Peach. Hey, you let her go! I jumped on one Koopa and he took a lot of damage. Neat. I jumped again, but the Koopas got some hits in. I only had a little bit of health left. Before I knew it, some Koopa Troopas were taking Peach away. I didn't have the strength to fight all of them, but I tried to follow after to see where they were going.
You let me go!
Peach struggled, but it was no use. There were too many Koopas and she was tiny. I kept following, but then all of a sudden, they disappeared. Hey, where did they go? I looked around but didn't see them anywhere. It was getting dark out, so I decided to find some shelter for the night. I would look for Peach tomorrow. On day 2, I woke up and went to gather some supplies. I couldn't help Peach if I didn't have some sort of weapons. I gathered some wood from some trees and went to building a crafting table. Then I made some wood tools along with a sword. This'll do the trick. I decided that I wanted to set up a base. I needed to make sure I was safe from Bowser and his goons. I got right to work gathering supplies and clearing out an area next to the water. It wasn't anything fancy, but it was safe. I went to grab some more supplies when I was attacked by some Goombas. Get away, you little shrooms. I drew my sword and went about slicing them up. It was super easy thanks to my new weapons. Yeah, take that! I gathered the rest of my materials and went back to put some finishing touches on the base. Home sweet home. On day 3, I decided to go exploring for some new materials, and I needed some sort of food. My hunger bar was starting to get really low. I managed to find some mushrooms, but I wanted to find some animals. I happened upon a small abandoned house with some pigs and sheep in a pen. Perfect! Just as I was grabbing them, I heard a yell from behind some trees. I quickly ran went over and saw my friend Toad. He was being attacked by some guys in masks. Hey, you leave my friend alone! I charged with my sword and smacked the Shy Guys left and right, but they were too strong. Run, Toad! Together we ran through the trees and lost the Shy Guys.
Mario, you're alive! And you're small!
Yeah, I'm alive. Why wouldn't I be?
Everyone thought when you went to go save Princess Peach that you died.
I was so confused.
You went to go fight Bowser in his castle a couple of days ago. When you never came out, everyone thought he defeated you.
Yikes, well I'm here, but I'm not as strong as I can be. Some Koopas kidnapped Peach, which I assume was Bowser's doing since they worked for him, but I'm going to save her.
I believe in you.
I invited Toad to live in my base where it would be safe. He happily agreed and we took off. On days 4 to 5, I decided to make Toad a little house for himself. It was a nice little place, and he seemed really appreciative.
Wow, this is great. Thanks.
Of course. I also planted a garden full of my mushrooms. I figured I should probably go out to get some food for Toad as well, so I went exploring. I managed to find some wheat seeds and some carrots, but then I was attacked by some Goombas. Get back! I managed to finish them off in just a few swipes. Man, if only everything was that easy. Just then, I noticed that one of the Goombas had dropped something. It looked like a big mushroom. I checked it, and it was a super mushroom. Whoa, cool! This will come in handy for later. I made my way back to the base with my seeds and began planting. It was really starting to come together. On day 6 to 8, I went to gather some animals. I hadn't gotten any before because Toad and I were attacked, but I was determined to get some now. I headed out near the water when I saw Bowser. He was with some of his Koopas. I decided to attack. Hey, give me back Princess Peach, you overgrown lizard! I charged at Bowser. He wasn't expecting it, and I managed to get a few hits in.
Puny little man, take this!
Just then, Bowser let off a breath of fire. Ow, 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 ow. I jumped away, trying to extinguish the flames. Bowser just laughed and took off with his goons. Wow, I forgot he could breathe fire. After another minute of letting my hearts regenerate, I went back to look for some animals. I had had a rough day, but I still needed to take care of me and my friend. On days 9 to 10, I headed back to the base with some sheep and pigs. I made some quick pens for them and herded them in so they wouldn't escape. Then I found Toad and told him about my encounter.
That's awesome that you took on Bowser.
I'm not as strong as I used to be, but I did get some hits in. I knew I could defeat Bowser, I just had to keep training. Then, I had an idea. Hey Toad, I want to build a statue just outside the base. It'll let people know that I'm still here and that I'm going to defeat Bowser once and for all.
That sounds great.
Toad agreed to help and we cleared out an area. We started building and managed to get some of the base done. Can you tell what it's going to be? I also made some modifications to the base, including a lounge area and a bigger garden. It was looking good. On days 11 through 12, I went back to my spawning point. I needed some more information about what had happened before, and I figured that might be a good place to start. I approached the crater and immediately I was sucked into the sand. Ah! Before I knew it, everything had gone black. Then, all of a sudden, I was my old self again. I was big and strong. I was storming Bowser's castle, fighting my way through the Koopas. I defeated them easily and found Bowser in his throne room. He had Peach. Let her go, Bowser. He laughed and pointed a weird-looking shell at me. Peach managed to run forward and grab me as the magic hit us both. We disappeared as Bowser screamed. All of a sudden, I felt something pulling me out of the sand. I gasped for breath and realized it was Toad. Toad, how did you know where I was?
I followed you because you were being super odd this morning. I saw you fall into the sand, and I couldn't get to you for a while. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I remember what happened. I told Toad about my flashback.
Whoa, that's crazy. I wonder where Bowser got a weapon like that.
No idea, but he won't use it again. I'll make sure of it. On days 13 to 15, I went back out to gather some more supplies. I happened upon the same abandoned house where I found Toad and saw the same Shy Guys hanging out around it. I tried to sneak past, but they saw me and attacked. Hey, I wasn't doing anything to you. They didn't listen and just kept hitting me, but I was stronger this time and I managed to defeat all of them. Yeah! Just then, I felt a surge of power and I leveled up into a regular-sized Mario. I had my mustache back too. Hey, I feel like my old self again. I jumped and realized I could go much higher than before. Wow, this is amazing. I'm basically flying. I gathered the rest of the wood and branches easily with my new jumping ability. I could take on anybody now. On days 16 through 19, I found a cave that had some really great materials in it. I was able to gather some stone for some new tools and weapons. Neat. I went down further into the cave when I saw something floating in the air. What is that? I got closer and I realized it was a boo. Before I knew it, it saw me, but then it covered its face. Okay? Maybe it wouldn't be a problem. I started to mine some of the materials, but then it attacked me. I turned back around and it covered its face again. Okay, I see how it is. I tried to keep my eyes on the boo, but it kept getting attacks in. Eventually, I managed to hit it and it disappeared in a puff. I hurried and made a crafting table, and with my new materials, I made a stone pickaxe, sword, and other tools. Nice! I had some good materials and decided to head back to the base to make some upgrades. On days 20 to 22, I made it back to the base just as Toad started yelling.
Help! It's Bowser! He's at the back door!
I hurried and drew my sword before approaching the backside of the base. I went up onto the top of the wall and looked down. Sure enough, it was Bowser. Hey, get away from here, Bowser! He looked up at me and shrieked.
I knew I would find you eventually. I heard you were in the forest somewhere. Give it up. You're no match for me.
That's enough talking. I jumped down and attacked. With my new ability, I could jump to avoid Bowser ladder, but I couldn't jump on top of his shell. His spikes were too, well, spiky. Ouch!
Princess Peach is mine. You can't have her.
Bowser drew a large breath and then breathed fire at me. I was able to jump and then land a blow on his head.
Ah!
He shrieked again and started to retreat. Yeah, run away, you coward. I'm not through with you yet. I let him go, knowing full well that I would see him again. I knew I could eventually beat him. I wasn't very strong, but I would get there. On days 23 to 26, I went back to the abandoned shack to check it out. I had been too busy trying to defeat the Shy Guys that I didn't even check out the house. Inside were a few beds and tables, but I found a secret hatch. Neat! It led down into the ground into a small room. In the corner was a chest. I opened it up, and there was a bunch of stuff inside. Wow, this is great! I gathered the string, iron ingots, seeds, and then I noticed there was an iron sword. Hey, this is exactly what I need! I drew the sword and took a swipe. It was much better than my stone sword. Wow, I feel great! And you know what will make you feel great? Subscribing and clicking the bell. You'll be just as happy as me. I went back up the ladder with my new stuff, excited to show Toad what I had found. On days 27 to 31, I started to work on the statue, but then realized we needed some green dye. Hey Toad, where can I get some green dye?
Cacti! If you grab a bunch of those, we should be able to dye some wool.
Perfect, I'll go looking for some. I traveled through the forest for a while before making it to the desert. It was so hot. Sheesh, this is miserable. I looked around and saw some cacti. As I was approaching, I felt something hit me. What was that? I looked around and saw a pokey. It had blended into the sand really well. But it wasn't just one pokey, there were a bunch, and I was surrounded. Jeez, where did you come from? I drew my new sword and started swatting at the plants. They kept falling on me and I had to dodge their tall bodies. After a minute, I had defeated them all. That was a new one. I grabbed as many cacti as I could hold and headed out of the desert looking for pokies. I saw some and quickly skirted around them. As fun as that was, I don't really want to do it again. I made it back safely and managed to dye the sheep green. I sheared them and started on the statue. It was looking good. We weren't even close to finishing, but it was going to turn out awesome. On days 32 to 33, I went out to look for some more people. I couldn't remember much from my former life, but I did know that I had friends. They were probably hoping that I was still alive. I went through the forest, past the edge of the desert, and went further into the taiga. I was traveling for a long time when I saw a light up ahead. When I got closer, I realized it was a castle. I don't remember whose this is, but I'm sure they are friendly. I approached and was immediately attacked by some Goombas. Get back! Just then, someone came out to help me. It was Daisy. After a minute, we defeated all of the Goombas. Daisy!
You're alive. I'm so glad.
She invited me into the castle and tea was served.
It's so good to see you. I desperately need your help.
With what?
Have you not heard? Luigi has been captured by Wario. Well, I guess you wouldn't have heard, since it happened the day after you disappeared.
I couldn't believe it. Man, did us brothers have bad luck or what? I'll go get him. He is my brother after all.
Oh, thank you.
She gave me directions for the lair that Luigi was being held in, and I started to make my way in that direction. On days 36 to 39, I went looking for Luigi. I knew that I had a brother, but all the details were fuzzy. That weird magic shell that Bowser had used on me was really doing a number on my memory. I made my way through the taiga into a tropical rainforest area. It was raining and I could tell that it was going to get dark soon. Ugh, I'm all soggy. Just then, the rainforest opened up into a clearing. There was a rundown castle and lots of plants surrounding the walls. Looks easy enough. I saw a little bird fly past, and all of a sudden, one of the plants gobbled it up. Piranha plants. I should have known. I scoped out the area again, trying to find a way around the carnivorous plants. I looked up and decided I was going to try to climb one of the trees overhanging the castle. I made my way over and jumped up the branches. All was going well until I stepped onto a slippery branch. Ah! On days 40 to 43, I was falling to my death. I was just about to hit the ground when I realized I was in water. I hadn't noticed the small river running alongside the castle. Phew, that was too close. I couldn't climb the tree, so I guess I had to go the original way. I maneuvered around the plants, slicing them if their jaws got too close to me. Before I knew it, I was at the front door. It wasn't even locked as I went to open it. Amateurs. I walked in and up the stairs, where I saw Luigi in a cave.
Brother!
I ran toward him, but then Wario and Waluigi stepped out.
Not so fast, Red. You're ours now.
Yeah, ours.
Give me a break. I attacked the goons and they screamed. What were they expecting? A nice little chat over brunch? I attacked over and over again, and before I knew it, the goons were gone. They dropped a key, which I picked up.
Brother, you're alive!
Yeah, it's all Bowser's fault. I'm getting stronger though, and pretty soon, I'll save Peach. Again.
What is it with these princesses getting captured?
I looked at the cage Luigi was in and raised my eyebrow.
Never mind, just help me out.
I used the key to unlock the door and embraced Luigi. It's good to see you too, brother. Let's get you back to Daisy.
Wait, I need to grab my stuff.
Luigi went over to a nearby chest and grabbed some things. While he was doing that, I looked throughout the ruins to see if there was anything worth taking. I did find some wool, a few emeralds, and a diamond pickaxe. Not bad. We made our way out of the castle, carefully, and back to Daisy's castle. She was ecstatic to see Luigi again.
Thank you. If you would like to stay here, you are more than welcome.
Thanks, but I have a base not too far away.
Well, don't be a stranger. If you need anything, You know where to find us.
On days 44 to 49, I made my way back to the base. I found some sheep along the way and managed to lead them back. I figured that the statue needed some work, which meant more wool. I went straight to dyeing the sheep and shearing their coats. Toad came out and I told him all about my adventures. He helped me on the next part of the statue, and it was looking really nice. Can you guess what it is now? I also used my new pickaxe to gather some better materials for the base. I made the walls taller and added some more security measures. I didn't want Bowser anywhere close to us again. On days 50 to 53, we were under attack. The base was on fire and Koopas were running around. I managed to fight some off when I noticed that Bowser was hanging back in the forest. "Coward, why don't you fight me yourself?" He roared and the Koopas tried to retreat. I managed to finish off a couple more as I made my way toward Bowser. Just then I felt a surge of power and I leveled up into a bigger version of myself. I screamed at Bowser and a plume of fire came out from my mouth. Whoa, I'm Fire Mario! Bowser must have been scared because he immediately began running away with the remaining Koopas. I hurried to put out the flames before it engulfed the entire base. I went to go check on Toad, but he wasn't in the house. I went looking around the base, but I couldn't find him anywhere. Oh no, Bowser must have taken him! It was all my fault. I was too preoccupied with the Koopas and getting to Bowser that I didn't even notice them taking my friend away. I felt awful. I needed to find Toad, but I had no idea where to go. On days 54 to 57, I fixed the base. I needed to make sure that nobody ever could get in again. I made larger and thicker walls, built security towers, and even added some pressure plates with traps. No way anyone is getting in here. I knew I needed to save Toad. I just needed some help first. I decided to go back to Daisy to see what she knew about Bowser and his henchmen. I made my way to her castle and was immediately greeted by Luigi when I got there.
Brother, you've returned.
Not to stay. I need some help. He led me inside and I chatted with him and Daisy about Toad being kidnapped by Bowser.
Bowser doesn't keep prisoners in his castle unless it's Peach. He hands them all off to King Boo. They're friends, and King Boo gets a kick out of scaring people.
That's awful.
I'm sure that's where Bowser would have taken Toad. It's a long way from here and it's very creepy. Everyone calls it Shadowland. Nothing grows there.
How do I get there? They told me where the castle would be and wished me luck.
He has probably imprisoned all sorts of innocent people there. Be sure to help them.
Of course. I wanted to go save my friend, but I needed to make some preparations first. On days 58 to 62, I went searching for more materials. I found a cave and started mining some iron ore. I made some new tools and went digging deeper into the ground. After a while, I found some diamonds. Perfect, just what I was looking for. I was about to mine them when I was attacked from behind. I flipped around and saw a bunch of boos. I'm not in the mood, ghosty boys. I used my new iron sword to swipe at them. They tried to fly away, but I got them all. Take that! I went back to mining my diamonds and was able to gather enough to make some weapons and some armor. Now that's slick. I could take on anything with this getup. I was feeling more confident about saving Toad already. On days 63 to 66, I headed back to the base to work on the statue. I dyed more wool green as well as some yellow and gathered it all up to make the next part of the statue. It's almost there, just one last part to go. I felt happy about my progress and how strong I was getting. I was going to rescue my friend. I knew it. I also know that if you subscribe and click that bell, that would help me to have the support I need to go and rescue my friends. On day 67 to 70, I followed the directions Daisy and Luigi gave me to get to the Shadowland. They were right. It was super creepy here. All the ground was covered in some sort of weird moss and the sky was darker. I only want to stay here for as long as it takes to get my friends, not a minute longer. I approached the castle and opened the tall double doors. They swung easily but made a haunting sound as they did so. I hated that. I walked into the castle and the door swung closed behind me. Oh great, just what I wanted. All of a sudden, a bunch of boos came out from behind the pillars and started attacking me. These guys weren't shy at all about getting up in my face. I'd rather you not do that, thanks. I managed to poof them all out of existence before heading up the grand staircase. King Boo has some fancy digs. I continued up further but couldn't find anyone. They must be in the basement. I continued back down the stairs, looking around for the entry to the basement. There didn't seem to be a staircase anywhere. That's odd. I went into a room that I assumed was some sort of study. I looked at the walls and noticed that one of them looked like a different color than the rest of the bricks. I kept looking and noticed a cool little paperweight on the desk, shaped like a crown. I tried to grab it, but it was stuck to the desk. I tilted it and in doing so, opened up a secret passageway. Nice! On day 71 to 74, I went down the stairs into the creepy dungeon. There were cobwebs everywhere and I thought I heard screams as I descended further. I hope my friends are okay. The stairway opened into a large room full of cages hanging from the ceiling. I could see Toad.
You're here!
I ran to get closer to the cage, but then I felt something hit me from behind. I immediately felt dizzy. I turned around and could barely make out King Boo with his crown and scepter. He laughed at me with his creepy smile.
Someone wants to be a hero. How fun.
He hit me again with his scepter and I felt myself losing health. Fast. The dizziness was overwhelming. What kind of weird magic was this? I'm here to friends my save from you, Boo King.
Yes. The scepter is doing its job. Don't worry. You'll be unconscious in no time.
I waved my sword around mindlessly. Move, you big ball of creepy creep. Before I knew it, I had fallen down and everything went black. On days 75 to 78, I woke up in a cage and my head hurt. Man, that did not go as planned.
You're telling me.
I looked over and could see Toad, along with Toadette, Yoshi, Rosalina, and Birdo. Wow, I guess we're all a bunch of geniuses, huh?
You're still feeling the effects of the scepter. Just take it easy.
Toad was right. I was feeling pretty awful still. I looked around the room and noticed there was a large release button on the wall, but it was too far away. Then I had an idea. Hey everybody, try to take cover, okay? Everyone huddled in their cages as I let out my fire breath. I aimed toward the button and the pressure from the fire activated it. All the cages popped open and we were free. Everyone, get upstairs. We need to escape.
Not so fast.
I looked and saw King Boo coming down the stairs. Everyone backed up against the wall. You won't get me again, Boo. He smiled his creepy smile and charged me. I let out another fire breath, which sent him flying. He screamed and tried to go back up the stairs. Not so fast. I let out another fire breath and got him square in the face. He screamed again. I ran up and hit him a few more times with my sword, doing some hefty damage. Then, in the blink of an eye, King Boo was no more.
Yay!
Everyone cheered and started heading up the stairs. We all made it out and headed toward the base, triumphant. On days 79 to 84, we traveled back to the base. It was a long journey, but we were all doing okay. Before we got there, we ran into Daisy and Luigi.
We have just heard the most terrible news.
What is it? Is everyone okay?
For now, but Bowser's figured out a way to amplify the magic of the shell he used on you. He's going to make all of us small and weak and then capture us.
Everyone started freaking out. Everybody, it's okay. I will go and stop him before he has a chance to use the shell.
We thought it would be safer with you. Is it okay if we stay at the base?
Of course. We continued to make our way to the base. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it, but I needed to stop Bowser before it was too late. On days 85 to 89, we all arrived back at the base. We got right to work making more houses for everyone and planting more food. It was good to know that everyone could be safe here. After a while, Toad came up to me.
I noticed that King Boo dropped his scepter and his crown after you defeated him, so I hurried and grabbed those before heading out.
Good thinking, Toad. He gave me the items. Both seemed powerful, but I noticed the gems were missing in the crown. I wonder if that's what gave it its power. I already knew what the scepter could do, so I didn't think too much of it.
Hey, let's finish the statue. Let's show Bowser just how powerful you really are.
We went to work finishing up the last part of the statue. It had taken a good bit of time, but it turned out amazing. I was super proud of it. We went back down to the base, where Toadette greeted me.
I need to talk to you about the crown Toad found.
Okay, what's up?
Before Bowser captured Toad, the rest of us were all in the dungeon for a long time. I overheard Bowser talking to one of his henchmen about stealing the gems from King Boo's crown. He didn't want Boo to become more powerful than him. Boo assumed it was a servant who stole them, but it was Bowser. I know where he keeps the gems. You should get them so you can use the crown against Bowser.
That's great information, Toadette. Thanks. Now I felt even more confident in my ability to defeat Bowser. On days 90 to 94, I traveled to the place that Toadette had told me about. It seemed like a smaller compound guarded by some Koopas, though these Koopas looked a little tougher than the other ones I had seen before. This must be the place. The security is better. He must be hiding some good stuff here. I snuck around and opened the door. I was met by a bunch of Koopas, which I smacked with my sword. I knocked out dozens of Koopas as I headed toward the small tower in the middle. Nobody could touch me. I was so powerful. I made it to the tower without a scratch and opened the door. I made my way up the stairs and into a small room with a chest in the middle.
Get out of here before I turn you into a nice mantelpiece for the wall.
I turned and saw a Koopa, this one larger than most I had seen. I'd like to see you try. The Koopa charged and actually got a few good hits in. He was a really good fighter. I dodged and swiped with my sword. He put up a good fight, but before long, he was gone. Oof, that was a bit tough. I went to the chest and opened it up. Inside was some gold, a bunch of netherite ingots, as well as the gems. I put the gems in the crown and it started to glow. I didn't want to put it on just yet. I figured I would save it for later. Thanks, Toadette. That was an awesome stash. I headed back to the base with my pockets brimming with all kinds of treasures. On days 95 to 97, I took the netherite I had found and upgraded my diamond gear into netherite armor and weapons. Nice, this is going to be amazing for my fight. I went around the base saying goodbye to my friends.
Goodbye, brother. Good luck in there.
Thanks.
Thanks for all of your help. You go rescue Princess Peach and take Bowser down.
Will do.
Here's some mushrooms for good luck.
Thanks, Toad. You're an awesome friend. Everyone waved as I left the base. It was go time. On day 98, I traveled to Bowser's base. I crossed all sorts of terrains on the way, which made it a long journey, but it was worth it if I could save my friends. If you like what you've seen, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. It's been awesome having you so far. We'd love for you to tell us what you'd like to see next. I made my way over a hill and finally saw Bowser's terrifying castle. Now was my time to shine. On day 99, I approached Bowser's castle. This place is enormous. I entered the castle and it was empty. Huh. Weird. I went up multiple flights of stairs without seeing anyone. Okay, this is really strange. I finally made it to the throne room where I saw Princess Peach. She was full grown now, just like me, but she was in shackles.
Mario, help!
I approached, but then remembered what happened the last time. I looked around and sure enough, Bowser was trying to hide behind a pillar, waiting to attack. Nice try, big guy. He held the shell in his hand, a sort of mechanism strapped to it. It seemed to all be taped together. It honestly looked a little silly. You do that yourself? Is that why all your Koopas left? They saw how incompetent you are and don't want to follow you anymore?
What's it to you? I'm going to rule this land, and nobody is going to stop me.
You went to push a button and nothing happened.
What? Why?
You broke it, Bowser. I tried to tell you to give it up.
You be quiet.
Bowser tossed aside the shell, ready to breathe fire at me. I hurried and put King Boo's crown on. Just then, I leveled up into a huge Mario, just as big as Bowser. I'm Super Mario. I charged at Bowser with all my might. We exchanged blows. He was taking a lot of hits, but he wasn't doing too bad himself. I saw my health starting to decline, but couldn't give up now. Using all my strength, I made one final blow, knocking Bowser down, defeating him.
Yay, you did it!
Princess Peach jumped up and down for joy. We were free! On day 100, Princess Peach and I made it back to the base, safe and sound. Everyone cheered as we came in. It felt good to be a hero. On day 1, I spawned in as a baby robot. Whoa, I'm a tiny robot, but where am I? Why am I in a cage? I looked around and saw there were a couple other bigger robots nearby. They must be my parents. I decided I would go ask them what we were doing here. But before I had a chance to ask them, the door to the cage opened and a giant rat walked into the cage.
All right, you junkers, time to get to work.
We're tired of taking orders from you. We can't stand by and watch this factory pollute the world any longer.
You think you can rise up against us? Sounds like I need to teach you a lesson, pal.
The rat lunged forward and started fighting my robot dad. As they were fighting, my robot mom came up next to me.
Zozo, the door's open. Move quickly and get out of here. We will hold him off.
But I don't understand. Why are we working for this guy? What are we doing here?
There's no time to explain, but he isn't even the one in charge of everything. I hope you never run into his boss. Now hurry, get out of here.
My mom hurried away to help fight off the rat, and I took the chance to rush out the door and escape. As I drove away, I turned around and saw the rat destroy my dad. Dad, no! I thought about going back, but I noticed I only had 6 hearts. If I was captured or killed, my dad's sacrifice would be in vain. As I drove away, I noticed that I had just escaped from a huge factory. There were big pillars of smoke coming out of it, which must have been causing all of the yellow haze. I better get out of here before that rat shows up, or worse, his boss. I was driving away when suddenly I started beeping, and my battery started to drain. Oh no, my battery is going to run out in 30 seconds. What's going on? In a panic, I backed up into the sunlight and saw that my battery immediately started to recharge and returned to full. Whew, that was scary. I must be a solar-powered robot. I'll have to be sure to stay in the light when I'm out and about. I soon found a good place to build a shelter for the night and quickly put up some walls. I made sure to leave the roof open so I could power back up in the morning. On day 2, I woke up to a full battery and sunlight coming into my shelter. Looks like my shelter kept me safe through the night, but I have a lot I need to figure out today, starting with rescuing my mom, if she's alive. I knew I wouldn't be able to get back into the factory without gearing up first, which is when I noticed that my arm was a permanent drill. I'll bet I can break all kinds of blocks with this arm. I'm going to try and go get some supplies. I stepped outside my base when I was suddenly attacked by some kind of tiny animal. Ah, what the heck are you? Get back! I swung my drill arm and quickly defeated the enemy. That looked like some kind of mutated bunny. I wonder where he came from. I'll have to keep an eye out. I headed over to a nearby hill where there were some trees growing and collected some wood and stone. Then I set up a crafting table and made an axe, shovel, and sword. My drill arm was pretty handy though, so I decided to start building a mine inside my base. I drilled into the ground and saw I was able to break a bunch of blocks at once. Whoa, mining is going to be a breeze. I was digging down and my battery alarm went off again. I was so excited about my drill, I almost forgot I had to stay in the sun. Luckily, I was able to get out before the timer ran out too quickly. Looks like I'm gonna have to be a lot more strategic every time I want to leave the sun. On day 3, I decided to venture out a little further to see if I could find some more supplies. I knew I still wasn't strong enough to break my mom out. As I got closer to a nearby cave, I saw something strange inside. What is that? It looks like there's a deactivated robot in there. Their battery must have run out. As I got closer to investigate, I was attacked by a mutant pig. Whoa, get back! The mutant pig had come out of nowhere, but I was able to quickly fight them off. As they disappeared, I saw a whole horde of pigs coming over the hill. I better get out of here. As I was driving away, I couldn't help but wonder what was happening to all of the animals and who was in that cave. Maybe they would be able to help me in the fight. I'd have to try and come check on them later. On days 4 and 5, I was running away when I stumbled across a small farming village, but noticed none of their crops really seemed to be growing. I decided to try and get more information, so I headed to the house at the top of the hill. Hello, is anyone home? The door opened and a farmer stepped out. Hey there, I'm trying to find out what's going on around here. What's wrong with your crops? She explained that the smog coming from the factory was killing all of her crops. Not only that, the smog was also turning all the animals into mutated versions of themselves. She explained that the only way would be to take out the factory's boss, Fat Cat, but everyone was too scared to get close to the factory, so she didn't know any good ways to do that. Well, I've been there once. I can try and get close and see what I can find out. Thanks for your help. I drove off in the direction of the factory. Hopefully I could learn something new before trying to break in. On day 6 to 8, I started making my way back towards the factory. As I reached the top of the hill, I ran into a mutated sheep. Ah, another one! Take this, you creepy sheepy! By using my sword, I was able to take it down. That farmer was right. The smog is making all the animals crazy. I kept going on my way when I ran into a zombie. As I started to attack him, I noticed he had something interesting in his hand. Are those robot tracks? I'm sure you won't mind me taking those off your hands. After a few hits, he was down, and I was right. He dropped a new set of tracks. I picked them up. Oh, nice! These Mark 1 tracks will give me an armor upgrade. Oh, and check it out! They gave me a speed boost, too! Now I'll be able to get farther on my limited battery. On days 9 to 10, I rolled up to the gates of the factory and took a look inside. I don't see much on this side. The workers must be inside. I'll go see if there's anything on the other side. As I got closer to the other side, I could see someone in a suit yelling at a robot. That suit, it must be Fat Cat. I looked into the yard and saw who he was shouting at. It was my mom.
We know you helped that little robot escape. You're gonna work overtime until we find him.
My mom didn't say anything. She was so brave. If I was going to help her though, I was going to need to find a way to get in. Just then, I heard some pistons moving and snuck over to where I heard the noise. As I peeked over the edge, I saw an opening in the wall of one of the guard towers, and a couple of rats were talking outside.
What do you think of my secret door? Pretty nifty, huh? Now we can sneak out and skip work. Nobody will know.
I still wasn't strong enough to fight, but knowing this will help me sneak in the future. As I turned to leave though, my new track squeaked, getting the attention of the rats.
Hey, what was that?
The rats rushed over to where I was hiding, but thanks to my new speed, I was able to get away without them seeing me. Don't worry, Mom. I'll come back for you. On days 11 through 14, I was heading back to my base when I realized the sun was starting to set. I started putting together a small hut to protect me for the night when I was suddenly attacked by a giant mutated zombie. Holy cow, this guy is huge! I started to build even faster but couldn't focus as I had to keep running away from the zombie. If he keeps chasing me, I'm not gonna be able to finish my house before the sun goes down. The sun kept going down and my battery soon started to beep, starting the 30-second countdown. Oh no, if I could just finish. As much as I tried, I couldn't finish the house. All I could do was jump into the unfinished build and hope for the best. My battery let out a final beep, and I deactivated. On day 15, I awoke to an unfamiliar face looking at me.
Huh?
Good morning, little friend. How are you feeling?
What happened? Who are you?
Don't be alarmed. My name is Gary, and I'm here to help. I managed to grab you before that zombie could rip you to pieces.
Thank you. You saved me. Whoa, and what's this? Did you upgrade my battery?
I did. I wish I could do more, but I only had parts on hand to give you a 60-second charge when you're out of the sun.
Wow, that's great. How did you know how to do that? The old man sighed before heading into his story.
My wife and I actually used to work at the factory building robots just like you. It was a clean, safe place for everyone, and the factory didn't produce the pollution that you see today. But then one day Fat Cat showed up and turned it into the mess you see now. He mistreats the robots and makes them work non-stop, which causes the factory to pollute the land. My wife and I had to flee for our safety. We planned to save the land from the factory, but my wife got sick and wanted to spend her last days growing her flower garden. But nothing would stay alive. She passed away soon after. I can't take Fat Cat down by myself, and everyone else is too afraid to help. But if you are willing to work with me, I think we can do it.
I'm so sorry to hear about everything you've gone through. Fat Cat has taken enough from us. Let's take this guy down. On days 16 to 19, I left Gary's house and went to find a good place to build myself a base of operations. After a little bit of searching, I found a good spot to start building. I first cleared out the land, then got to work laying the foundation of the house. Then I put up walls to keep the mutants out, and finally, put up the base itself, making sure to leave windows in the ceiling for light to get in. Once that was finished, I filled the interior with everything I would need. Home sweet home. I hope this can be a place of safety for anyone who wants to help in our fight. That reminded me, what happened to that robot I saw in the caves? If I could just get a little stronger, I could fight my way past those mobs and see what was going on. On days 20 to 22, I woke up to sheep sounds outside my base. Oh nice, I could use their wool to build some things. I hurried to my base door and saw a bunch of mutant sheep outside. Oh right, I forgot everything here was green. Oh well, good to know my walls kept them out. I opened the door and started to fight them. I noticed a little mutant bunny was also joining in on the fight. How'd you get mixed up with these bad people? I finished them all off, no problem. After the fight, I could feel a power surge and I suddenly grew into a bigger robot. Alright, I even gained 4 more hearts. I looked closer at my drill. It now had a diamond tip.
Wow.
I decided to go and give it a test. It looks like I can break blocks even faster than before. This is great. On days 23 to 27, I left my base to try and look for that robot in the cave. I had no idea if they would still be there, but maybe they could help in our fight against Fat Cat. Since I had just gotten my new upgrades, it felt like the right time to try again. Before I got back to the cave, I stopped by an abandoned mine shaft I had seen earlier. I'm going to need a way to transport the robot back so I can take these old rails to do it. I soon gathered up all the rails and found myself looking over the cliff to the cave. It looked like the robot was still in there, so I rushed down the hill and attacked the mutant pigs. I'm not gonna run away this time. They put up a good fight, fight, but my new abilities were too much for them. I fought as hard as I could and won. Finally, now I can get this robot out of here. Looks like they're deactivated. I quickly laid down some tracks, got the robot into a minecart, and started heading back to the base. On days 28 to 32, I arrived back at the base, and I saw Gary had moved a lot of his supplies in. This will help us coordinate our plans much easier. Gary, I found this robot out in a cave. Do you think you can help her?
Oh, I recognize this model. They call her Eve.
Gary took a look and could immediately tell what was wrong.
Yep, looks like her battery's fried. She must have been caught out in the wilderness.
So what can we do? Do you think you can fix her?
Not with the supplies I have on hand, but I know of a warehouse in the desert that used to have the components. I can tell you where to go to find it.
Gary told me where to go, but before I left, I made some improvements to the base. I added a second layer to the walls and got to work on building Gary a house to work out of. Everything was looking great, and I even built a working drawbridge. No one is going to be breaking into here. On days 33 to 36, I was getting ready to leave when Gary stopped me and said he had something to ask me.
Zozo, I had a question to ask you. Why are you so nice to everyone?
Well, I wish I could take all the credit, but there's a robot I really look up to who has inspired me to be nice and always try and help. He's a sassy dude, but in the end, he always does the right thing.
That's great. I think we should build a statue of this robot as a symbol to everyone, but they are still good in this world.
That would be a great idea. I rushed out and was able to find some non-mutated sheep to use for the build. I led them back to the base and put them in a pen I had made. Then I got to work on the statue. I started with the base, then moved on to the statue itself. After a while, I had finished the first part. This is coming along great. I hope you're enjoying it so far too. If you like what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe to the channel. That way, you'll never miss my next adventure. On days 37 to 40, I entered the desert to begin my journey to the warehouse. I can already feel the temperature rising, but that means lots of sunlight for my battery. As I made my way toward a small hill, I heard a strange sound up ahead. I wonder what that could be. As I came over the hill, I saw a group of mutant horses who attacked me. This feels so wrong to be fighting horses. But you guys aren't as nice as your non-mutant brothers. After a tough fight, I was able to finish them off. I made it through, but these mobs were getting tougher. I'm gonna have to find a good spot to build a camp and craft some upgrades. Who knows what could be waiting for me at the warehouse. On days 41 to 43, I found a nice spot against the cliff full of ores. Whoa, look at all these ores. I can use these to give myself an upgrade. I also noticed there was a nice spot in the corner where I could build a camp. I quickly laid down some blocks for a foundation and then set up all the tools I would need. Then I worked on building the walls and finished it up with a glass ceiling. With the base set up, I headed over to the ore deposit and mined out some gold and some iron. I can use this iron to upgrade my armor, and I've got a special item in mind for the gold. I quickly smelted down all the iron in my blast furnace, then got started smelting all the gold. Then I made an iron chestplate, iron leggings, and an iron helmet. With the leftover iron, I decided to make myself an iron sword, axe, shovel, and hoe as well. To finish up, I then made a gold block, which I then mixed with some gold bars in my tire tracks. This let me upgrade my tracks to the Mark II version, which gave me even more protection than before. Wow. I feel like I can take on anything now. Let's go find that warehouse. From days 44 to 49, I left my house to finally find the warehouse. After a while, I could finally see it. That must be it. I hope the parts we need are inside. As I entered the building, I could see the place was in ruins. This place has been completely picked apart. It looks like I might just have to head home and figure something else out.
Hey, you!
A little rat came running over to me. What could he want? What do you want? Aren't you working with Fat Cat?
No, not at all. You think rats want to work with cats? That giant rat has betrayed all rat kind, and I want to take him out. You think you can help?
It sounds like we want the same thing, but how do I know I can trust you?
You came here to this warehouse because you're looking for something, right? The giant rat cleaned all these warehouses out and moved everything to his base. I can show you where it is.
I didn't know if I could trust him, but I agreed to work with him, so we headed off to the base. On days 50 to 53, the rat and I were traveling when a gazelle called out to us from a village. It looked like something was wrong. Hey, what's going on? She told us that a group of husks were attacking their village and they needed our help. If we would help them, she would give me something useful. I'm always happy to do what I can. She led us into the village and I charged at the husks. The rat even joined in on the fight. Maybe I could trust him after all. It wasn't long until we had eliminated all of the husks. And stay down. The gazelle thanked us for our help and told us to follow her to the village workshop. When we arrived, she told me to take what was inside the chest. Whoa, are these blueprints on how to build a focus lens? If I can build that, then I could use it to redirect light into deep holes for mining. On days 54 to 57, I decided I would construct a lens and try to mine for diamonds. I first needed to gather some resources though, so I headed out into the desert. While I was on my way, I was suddenly attacked by a gang of mutant cats. These mutant animals are just getting weirder and weirder. I noticed there was a little mutant bird fighting along them too. A bird fighting with cats and rats are working with Fat Cat? This world is crazy. After beating the mutants, I got to work digging up some sand to make glass. Once I had collected all the sand I needed, I headed back to my base and started smelting the sand. Alrighty, time to start building this lens. I constructed 2 pillars for the base, then put the lens together using the glass I had just smelted. There was a shadow on the ground for now, but once I turned the lens, that should disappear. Okay, let's see if this thing works. I headed over to the activate button and gave it a press. As the lens rotated, I saw the shadow on the ground disappear. I quickly got to work digging a deep hole. It's nice to not have to worry about my battery running out. Once I started to hit bedrock, I built an angled mirror at the bottom so I could do some strip mining. The mirror was able to reflect enough light for me to be able to start mining to the side. Before long, I mined into a room full of diamonds. Amazing, this is just what I needed. I quickly mined all of the ores that I could and then headed out of the mine to craft. On days 58 to 62, I headed into my base to start crafting with the new materials I had just mined. I noticed that while I had been down in the mines, the rat had made himself a small hut off to the side of my base. Pretty cozy. Back at my crafting table, I made a diamond chestplate, helmet, and leggings. With the remaining diamonds, I also made myself a sword. Feels good to know this armor will keep me safer than before. The fight against Giant Rat will be a tough one. On days 63 to 66, I met the rat outside my base. Before we get going, is there anything else that I need to know?
Yeah, you'll need all the support you can get, so anyone who is listening to this should subscribe and like the video. That ought to give you the strength you need.
That's true. That would help a ton. The rat and I headed off to go fight the giant rat. We soon left the desert and entered the Badlands. As we made our way, we suddenly saw a pack of mutant wolves headed right at us. Mutant wolves now? This just doesn't even surprise me anymore. The rat and I launched into attack mode and fought against the pack. The rat was proving to be a good teammate, and we were able to defeat them in no time. Nice job. I feel like we're making a great team. On days 67 to 70, we made our way to the edge of a cliff overlooking the giant rat's warehouse. Whoa, do you see that? Running into the warehouse was a huge pack of rats, all carrying different pieces of loot. We were definitely in the right place. All right, buddy, what's the best way in? I waited for the rat to reply, but he didn't say anything. Suddenly, I heard a bunch of squeaking and saw the pack of rats come screaming out of the building. They were headed right towards us. He had betrayed us. No, I thought you were my friend. Soon the rats were on me and I tried to fight them off. Oh no, there's so many of them. I don't know if I can get out of this one. I managed to take a few of them out, but it felt like a fight I couldn't win. And I was right. The rats injected me with something that depleted my battery, and I shut down. While I was shut down, the rats pushed me down the hill into the warehouse and locked me away in a cell. On days 71 to 74, I started the day deactivated in the jail cell when suddenly there was a huge explosion in the ceiling. The roof blew away, which let light come in, recharging my battery to full. As I turned back on, I saw Gary jump in from the ceiling. Gary, you're here!
Come on, Zozo, let's get you out of here.
Gary set some TNT by the jail doors and blew a hole in the bars. As we jumped through, we were attacked by the gang of rats. You guys aren't going to shut me down again. With Gary's help, we were able to fight off the horde of rats, but since we were out of the sun, my battery had started to deplete again.
Don't worry, Zozo, I've got a solution to your battery problem.
Gary took out his bazooka and blasted a hole in the roof, which let the sun come in. I quickly recharged.
Let's take a look in these supply closets. I'm sure there's going to be some useful items.
Gary and I started looking at all the crates, and there were tons of useful items. Netherite scraps. I can use this to upgrade my gear. I went ahead and grabbed the emeralds too, just for good measure. We continued moving through the warehouse, with Gary blowing holes in the roof as we went. In the next room, we found even more supplies. More netherite scraps, and healing potions. Whoa, and check it out, gold nuggets. Just what I need to make some netherite ingots. We'd gotten some good loot, but we still needed to get parts to fix Eve. There was only one place we hadn't checked, Giant Rat's office. On days 75 to 78, we reached the Giant Rat's office. Watch out, Rat Man, we're coming in. I punched the door open and headed inside with Gary. Giant Rat was inside on his desk. Eve's battery was on the wall behind him. Give us the battery, or we're going to have to take you out too.
This battery powers the one robot with the code to shut down Fat Cat's factory. You found it, didn't you? I know where your little base is. Once I've taken care of you, I'll destroy that little robot once and for all.
We'll never let you destroy her. We're taking that battery and shutting the factory down. Just then, the giant rat leaped forward and started attacking Gary. We both pulled out our weapons and started to fight. Stay strong, Gary. We can beat this guy. The giant rat was really powerful, and my health bar got really low. But in the end, we were finally able to defeat him. We did it. Nice job, Gary. Let's grab the battery and get out of here. Gary? I turned and saw that Gary had been seriously wounded. Gary, you don't look so good. Come on, let's get you some help.
There's no time, Zozo, but there's something you should know first. I was the one that hid the robot Eve away. She needed to be in a safe place. I thought telling you what code she contained would put you in too much danger.
The more he spoke, the worse he looked. It's okay. Maybe you should sit down. Gary slumped down against the wall.
You've been a great friend, Zozo. I know you can do this. She would have loved you too.
She?
I had hoped to see her flowers bloom one more time. My wife. Her name was Eve.
Gary put his head down and he was gone. Thank you for everything, Gary. I won't let you down. On days 79 to 84, I grabbed the battery off the wall and left the office. I couldn't believe Gary was gone. As I headed down the stairs, I heard a familiar voice.
So now that the giant rat is gone, you need a new leader. And that leader should be me.
This whole time, that rat was just trying to take over the rats. I couldn't let this stand. You cost me everything. I charged down the stairs and attacked the rat. I was so angry, I was able to defeat him in no time. All the other rats were so scared, they didn't even try to get involved. I've got to get this battery back to Eve and shut down the factory. I headed out to return to the base. On days 85 to 89, I arrived back at the base and put Eve's battery pack in. After a moment, she booted up and looked right at me.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Zozo. Gary told me that you should have code to shut down the Fat Cat factory. Is that true?
That is correct. I would be happy to assist you with doing so. Where is Gary? I would love to see my creator again.
He didn't make it, but he would have wanted us to work together.
I see. I'm sorry to hear it, but I agree. Gary and Eve are my best friends, and I'm sure we will be good friends too.
I agree, which reminds me, do you think you could help me with something? Eve and I headed outside, and I got her help finishing the robot statue. Finishing the statue gave me the courage to be brave. Brave like my robot hero, and brave like Gary. Before long, the statue was complete. This looks amazing. Thanks for all of your help, Eve. From there, I went to work on building Eve a place to stay as well. I made sure to give her everything she needed to be comfortable. Once I finished the outside, I worked on decorating the inside with all the tools she'll need. With everything complete, I just had one more task to finish. Using the nether scraps and gold I had collected, I made a netherite ingot. Then, I used that to upgrade my diamond sword. Nothing's gonna stop us now. On days 90 to 94, I decided I should go through Gary's room to see if there was anything he may have had to help us in the final fight. As I was looking around, I came across Gary's diary. His last entry confirmed his plan to follow me to the warehouse. Under that entry was a note meant for me.
If you're reading this, I didn't make it. The last thing I need to tell you is that Eve knows how to do something special. She can also craft a battery for you. With such a battery, you can function without the need for sunlight.
Wow, what an amazing gift. I'll go ask her. I headed back out and found Eve. I asked her about the battery.
Let me check my data logs. Scanning. Oh yes, I found the recipe. Right this way.
Eve grabbed some supplies from a chest, then headed over to the crafting table. Moments later, we headed outside, and she tossed the new battery pack to me. I put it in. I immediately felt a power surge and turned into a giant robot. My battery pack showed it was upgraded too. Whoa, look at me. I feel great. Fat Cat isn't gonna know what hit him. On days 95 to 96, I headed outside to meet up with Eve. Today's the day, Eve. Let's go save the world. Eve and I took off in the direction of the factory. After a while, we arrived near the edge. Looking ahead, I could see some rats patrolling the perimeter. Once they had passed, we snuck up to the hidden entrance I had seen before. If we hit this button, it will let us inside. I hit the button and Eve and I snuck inside. Once we were in, we didn't see anyone else around. It looks like the coast is clear. Let's see if we can get to the robots inside. As we ran across the open space, we heard a squeak. A single rat guard was standing there. Maybe he can tell us where the robots are. Hey, don't move and we won't hurt you. Where are all the robots?
Fat Cat gathered them all in the incinerator room. He's threatening to melt them all down because one lady robot keeps trying to lead revolts.
That sounds like my mom. Thanks for the tip. We can't risk you giving us away though, so I'm sure you won't mind us locking you up. Eve shot a rat net at him, which put him in a rat sack. I picked him up and put him in my safety compartment. Come on, let's get to the incinerator room. On days 97 to 98, we entered the incinerator room and saw my mom dangling above the lava pit. We have to save her. Hang on, Mom, we'll get you out. I looked across the room and saw a lever that controlled the device, but then I noticed a rat on the other side of the room watching us. He ran towards the lever. Oh, no, you don't. I ran toward the rat while Eve started shooting her laser cannon. It was a close one, but we managed to take him out before he could pull the switch.
Zozo, is it really you?
Mom, I'm so glad to see you're still alive. Where are all the other robots? We have to get everyone out.
Fat Cat is keeping them locked in the next room over. I can get them out, but I don't know how we'll get out of here unnoticed.
There's a secret entrance that we use to get in. You guys can use that to escape.
Thank you, Zozo, and be safe. Fat Cat will be in the main factory. I love you. Good luck.
On day 99, we left the incinerator room and made our way towards the main factory. On our way toward the factory doors, we heard a terrifying voice.
Well, 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 if it isn't little Zozo.
Fat Cat was looking down at us from the factory's second-story window. Fat Cat, the madness has to stop. We're shutting down this factory one way or another.
We'll see about that. Rat pack, attack!
Just then, the largest pack of rats I had ever seen came charging at us. This must have been every rat in the factory. Time to see how good my upgrades really were. Bring it on, you little creeps. Eve and I threw everything we had at the rats. With my new abilities, these rats didn't stand a chance. Eve shot them with her laser cannon, and I hit them back with my new gear. Before long, we had managed to take most of them out, which made the remaining rats all run away in fear. Yeah, you better run. Eve and I walked up to the factory door, but before going in, I turned to talk to Eve. Eve, I could really use your help in this fight, but we can't risk you getting hurt. We need you to stay safe so you can shut down the factory.
I understand. And Zozo, there's something else I want to say before you go in there.
Yeah, what is it?
I know you'll make it through this, and I just think everyone should subscribe so they can see what you'll do next.
Wow, that really means a lot to me, Eve. Thank you. I'll see you when it's all done. On day 100, I entered the factory and saw Fat Cat looking down at me from the second-story balcony.
It's over, Zozo. I have the high ground.
What?
This little revolution ends today. I don't care how many rats you kill or how many robots you free. I'll never shut this place down.
And just like that, he attacked. As we exchanged blows, it was clear to me that he was way stronger than I could have thought.
You could have had a great life working in my factory and making me rich, but it looks like it's over for you.
My hearts were getting really low. It didn't look like I was going to make it. But just then, a laser came out of nowhere and hit Fat Cat. Eve! Eve came in and started fighting with Fat Cat, which gave me a second to use my potions and heal up. Then I got back into the fight. You're in trouble now, Fat Cat. As I started to fight, I was able to distract Fat Cat and lead him away. While I did that, Eve snuck around to the main factory shutoff and input her code.
No, my factory!
Suddenly, Fat Cat stopped moving and a tiny cat popped out. He was a cat in a robot suit this whole time.
There he is, boys! Get him!
The pack of rats appeared and chased Fat Cat out of the factory. We did it, Eve! I'm sure the world will return back to normal in no time. Now let's go find my mom. We have a lot of catching up to do. I think Gary would have been proud.
On day 1, I spawned in as King Kong. Check me out, I'm the king of the world. But wait, why do I only have a few hearts? I'm a massive ape for crying out loud. That's when I realized I was on a playground. Looks like I'm not the king quite yet. From out of nowhere came a man wearing a black suit and tie. Oh, he must be super nice. We can always trust strangers in nice suits, right?
Don't run, alien. You're coming with me. You're in trouble.
Alien? Why is he calling me that? Just then, the man in black started to try and capture me. I'll never go with you. Kidnapping is wrong. I couldn't believe this guy. I had no choice but to run.
Stop making a fuss and get into my unmarked vehicle. I have candy.
The man in black was chasing after me and kept calling me an alien. What's this guy's deal? I ran into the forest and climbed up a big tree. Nice try, kidnapper. After resting for a bit in the tree, I jumped down to see if the man in black was gone. The coast was clear. Phew, I hope I never see that guy again. Just then, I heard some rustling. Was he back? Nope, it was a badger. Oh boy, I'm glad it's just you. There was a really weird dude chasing me earlier. The badger didn't want to chat. He was mad that I was on his turf and tried to attack me. Back off, Badgie. I punched him and knocked him away. Huh, I'm not so weak after all. Nice try, punk. That badger had definitely learned his lesson. Or so I thought, because it wasn't long before I was surrounded by an entire badger gang. I'm having a really rough day. They had me surrounded. Suddenly, I felt something in my chest, and I let out a giant roar. The badgers jumped and ran off. I have no idea where that came from, but it worked. I'll have to remember that for the future. It was getting dark, so I climbed back up into a tree for the night to sleep in the branches. Wow, from up here, it's almost like I could touch the moon. It's huge. As I fell asleep, I couldn't help but wonder if I'd ever find a family out there, so I wouldn't be so alone. On day 2, I decided it was time to make my way in this world. I started to wander around and it led me to a jungle. Oh, this certainly feels like the place to make a home. I started to cut down wood and gather stone. I made my crafting table and got to work creating tools and a couple of weapons. Easy squeezy, weapon pleasey. I knew I was going to need a base very soon, so I started collecting resources for that too. But this was the jungle, and it wasn't long before I was disturbed by a very grumpy venomous snake. I know how to handle this. I took a deep breath and roared, and nothing happened. Uh-oh, maybe snakes don't have very good hearing. Oh well, I'll just have to take care of him the old-fashioned way. It was a good thing I had just made a sword, which I used to quickly take him out. Now that the snake was gone, it made me want to build a really well-hidden base. I didn't want the man in black to find me, or anything else for that matter. As I went deeper into the jungle, I soon saw a giant boulder. That rock would be a good foundation for my base. I got right to work constructing the beginnings of my jungle home. It was coming along nicely, but I soon got tired and needed to rest for the night. It was cozy in my small but sturdy base. I fell asleep thinking of plans to eventually construct my home into a jungle temple. On day 3, I woke up bright and early to explore the jungle. Suddenly, I heard a squeak and saw a cute little green creature running away from a big crocodile. I followed him and saw the poor little green creature was cornered by the croc. Hey, stop right there, croc. How about you take a bite out of this? I started hitting him with my sword. He snapped at me, but I was able to dodge his blows. We brawled for a bit, but eventually I was able to knock him out. I looked around for the little green guy and saw he was running away. Hey, I'm not mean, I promise. He didn't stop running, so I followed him. Don't be scared. Look, I've got a banana. Want one? The little green creature turned and stopped running. You're probably hungry. Here you go. He really liked it, and I think it helped him trust me.
Like banana, I do.
Oh, he can talk. I asked him his name and where his home was.
Luno, my name is. Lunarian, I am. On the moon, I live, but from the moon, I fell. Lost I am. A lot of mean creatures here there are, but you, nice you are. Alone I am.
I'm alone too. That's pretty cool you're from the moon though. I have no idea how to get you home, but I'm happy to try. The alien was relieved to hear I would try and help him. I invited him to stay at the base until we figured something out. He agreed and we went back together. On days 4 to 5, I made it back to the base. We added another room so that Luno had a space of his own. I'm going to need more materials to build some more of this temple. You stay here, Luno. I'll be back. I walked around the jungle and began mining and collecting all sorts of things from the temple. What was that? I thought I heard something. Guess not. I got back to collecting things. I heard some more rustling behind me and some malicious giggling. I turned and saw the group of badgers that had ganged up on me earlier. Oh brother, not you guys again. When are you going to just leave me alone already? I took in a big breath and gave my best banshee roar. Some of the badgers ran off, but some of them just stayed there. That's strange. Well, now I wasn't defenseless like last time. I brandished my sword. I got this in the badger. I started swinging and hitting the badgers that had stuck around. I'll bet they wish they had run away. After I had gotten rid of all of the badgers, I noticed one of them had dropped something. It was an item that protected against sound attacks. Pretty clever badgers. Gotta hand it to them. I finished gathering materials and headed back to the base. I told Luna what had happened with the badger.
Strong fighter you are.
Ah, shucks, Luno. It was getting late and had been a long day, so we settled in for the night. Luno looked up at the moon before he fell asleep. He missed his home. It was close, yet so far. On days 6 to 8, I woke up ready to face the day. I wanted to find upgrades for the base, and Luno wanted to explore a little bit too. I told him to be careful and call out to me if anything happened. While I explored below some azalea trees, I noticed an entrance to a cave. I know what this means. Iron time. I hopped down into the cave. It was so lush down here. I got out my sword and quickly took care of the slimy pests. I found some really neat, dark-colored cobblestone, plus plenty of iron. This cave rocked, pun intended. I couldn't wait to check out more, but it was then that I heard something from outside the cave. I better take a look. I carefully peeked out of the cave and saw the men in black running past. He was back. That was close. He could have seen me. What is he up to now? That was Luno's stream. I rushed out of the cave to find Luno. I no longer cared about my safety. I couldn't let the man in black kidnap him. This is terrible. I should have never let Luno go off alone. I wasn't going down without a fight. Feel my wrath, kidnapper. I went to knock his blocks off, but before I could get over there, he suddenly evaporated into particles. What kind of kidnapper magic was this? I was left alone with only my regrets to keep me company. What was I to do? On days 9 to 10, I was so discouraged. The man in black was too cunning. There was no chance I'd be able to save Luno. I didn't even know where he was taken. Maybe a walk will clear my head. I wandered around the jungle and through the forest. Eventually, I ended up in a familiar spot. It was the playground I started off at. I climbed back onto the small skyscraper. There was something comforting about being on top of it. I'm supposed to be King Kong, king of the jungle, but I couldn't even save my friend. Sitting on the skyscraper gave me an idea though. I know, I can build a statue to help take my mind off of things. So I went back towards my base. I stopped at an area that was nearby, but not so close that it would give my base away. I started clearing the area for my big project. Once I was done clearing the area, I started the foundation of the skyscraper. Not too shabby. It was a great start, but that would be enough for now. It was about to get dark and mobs would be spawning. I headed back to the base and crafted some gear with iron to pass the time. I hoped Luna was okay. After a while, I decided to call it a night and got some sleep. On days 11 to 12, I got up bright and early. I was looking forward to building my statue, but I was going to need a ton of materials to build my skyscraper. I headed out of the jungle and into a bamboo forest. As I was exploring, I noticed a large building hiding among the plants. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. There was an old spooky looking mansion. I was so intrigued by it. I went inside and had a look around. I wonder who used to own this place. Maybe it was an explorer. I was taking a closer look at things when I was startled by the sound of someone clearing their throat. I turned and there was an old man looking at me.
Hello there. May I help you, old chap?
Sorry, I didn't think anyone lived here anymore.
Indeed I do. This old house isn't what she used to be, but I'm too old these days to keep up with the yard.
Oh, well, I like the way it looks. It's very earthy, and you have some really cool artifacts here. What a collection.
Thank you, dear boy, but these relics are all fake. You see, I'm an explorer, or I was when I was a bit more spry. When I would find something fascinating, whether it was an animal, artifact, or relic, I didn't want to take it. No, I wanted others to enjoy finding it too, so I would come home and recreate it. That way, the original would be right where it should be.
It's very honorable of you. I have mad respect for your respect.
Cheers. You know, you remind me of someone I met before. This might fascinate you if you'd like to see it.
He led me into his backyard, and there in the middle was a model of a giant King Kong-looking gorilla.
I found this gigantic creature on an island where it was worshipped as a god. I was so amazed, I went home and built this replica here. It's my most treasured discovery, and I've always hoped I'd meet another, as I've heard this creature is no longer living.
I could tell he was thinking thinking I was just like this great specimen. This is inspiring to see, but I'm much too small. I'll never reach that size.
This ape started out as a small bugger, just like you. Day by day, he grew stronger and bigger until he was a towering, fearsome giant. Maybe you too will steadily grow so big.
I wasn't so sure about that. I mean, I hope so, but I failed to save my friend. It was hard to believe I was destined for greatness. I said cheerio to the old explorer. I was glad I had met him. Then I continued collecting materials while also heading back towards home. While I was mining, I couldn't help but daydream about one day being a real king of the jungle. On days 13 to 15, I was making my way back to my base when I got the feeling I was being followed. I picked up my pace, hoping that would help, but I still couldn't shake that feeling. When I looked behind me, I finally caught a glimpse of something. Nope, I wasn't going to wait around to find out what it was. I booked it. I ran as fast as I could, but I was right. Something was following me, and that something was just as fast as I was. It was a tiger. It looks like I have no choice. I flipped around and faced him. No more running. I would just have to give it my all. Chew on this, tiger. I used my strength, my roar, and my sword. I gave it my all. He hit me a few times. There was no denying that this kitty was tough. This battle is intense. Even though it was a hard battle, I actually was holding my own. Whoa! All of a sudden, we both went tumbling off a cliff. But did that stop us? No! We landed in the water and kept at it. There was a fire that got ignited in me. Something instinctual, something primal. I let out a huge roar. We kept brawling, but in the end, I got the last blow and he was done. I came out victorious. Yes! I was so proud of myself. I could really step up to the plate when the odds are stacked against me and come out on top. I felt strength welling up inside of me, and I instantly evolved into a bigger version of King Kong. Okay, I wasn't quite the size of a jungle king, but I'd say I was at least a prince. Just call me Prince Kong, Prince Pong. Yeah, maybe I'll just stick to being called Zozo for now. On day 16 to 19, I was feeling so confident that I had some pep in my step. Maybe things weren't so hopeless with helping Luno. I had figured out how to defeat the tiger. Maybe, just maybe, I could figure out how to rescue Luno. I decided to return to the place of the kidnapping to see if I could find any clues. Bingo! And Sloppy was his name-o. There it was, a map on the ground. Looked like he dropped it in the chase. His mistake was my advantage. I looked it over and saw that it had a building on it labeled Men in Black's Secret Lab. These dudes really need to do some training on how to not compromise classified information. What a bunch of rookies. The map changed everything. This meant I had a shot at finding Luno, and this time I was going to save him. But first, I better get ready for battle. I wanted to upgrade my gear, so I went back to the lush cave and mined a bunch more iron. Some spiders crawled up and tried to bother me, but I showed them who was boss real quick. Mind your business, spiders. Get it? The spiders weren't amused. Oh well, you go squish now. I was on a mission. I would not be deterred. Once I gathered enough, I went back to my base and got to work, crafting a full set of heavy-duty iron armor and iron weapons. Now, I was ready, I hoped. On day 20 to 22, I set off, following the map to the secret lab that was no longer a secret. Seriously, can you believe they just dropped that really important map? I approached the area where the place was supposed to be, but I didn't see anything anywhere at first. But then I spotted it. It was a very well-hidden bunker lab. Without the map, I'd have never noticed it. I guess I can give them a little credit for camouflaging. Just then, some guards came out of the bunker. I quickly ducked out of sight.
Yeah, that little green alien is really adorable.
It's too bad he won't be around after today.
I was just getting used to having the little guy around. I think I'm gonna cry.
Pull yourself together, Fred.
Hey, I have feelings too.
I'm sorry, Fred. I know what this is really about. It's about the last bagel that Jerry took.
He already had one, Megan. Who does that? A monster, that's who.
Let it out, buddy. Have a good cry.
Talk about drama. I had to get in the door. Just then, 2 more guards came out to talk to the other ones. The door was ajar. This was my chance to sneak past the guards while they sorted out their feelings or whatever that was about. Okay, I'm in. That wasn't so hard. Just gotta find out where they're holding Luno, kick booty, and get out. No biggie. I turned a corner and found myself in a cafeteria full of guards. Uh-oh, wrong turn. Everyone turned and looked at me. So how about them burgers, huh? Talk about beefy. Well, I'll see myself out.
Intruder, get that gorilla!
That was my cue to run. I ran deeper into the base. They were so shocked to see a big gorilla, they weren't ready to fight. I took them out with just a few big punches. Ooh, one of them dropped a key. I know what to do with that. I put the key in the lock of the door they were guarding. Open sesame. Luno was inside the room.
Zozo.
He was so excited to see me. He was surprised how much I had grown. I told him I was sorry for taking so long to rescue him. He was just happy to see me and told me I was very brave. What a guy. No time to lose, Luno. We gotta break you out of here. The battle is only half won. We tried to hurry and make our way out without running into anyone else, but of course that was too good to be true. The man in black cut us off and blocked us from getting any further.
I'm not the bad guy here. This is what needs to happen. Surrender, or I will have to use this.
He flashed a fancy-looking gun. The gun didn't shoot bullets. Instead, it produced a terrible, debilitating sound. I quickly equipped my noise-canceling ear protection that I picked up from the badgers. But poor Luno was spinning with confusion. No one was going to hurt my friend on my watch. I charged the man in black. I gave him a super punch and knocked him to the ground. He didn't get back up. He was out cold. Total knockout. You didn't stand a chance against these guns. Luno was still a bit disoriented, but he was okay. We rushed out of the lab and into the wilderness. The man in black never knew what hit him. On day 23 to 26, we returned to the jungle temple. I kept apologizing that I hadn't been able to stop the men in black from taking him, but he told me he didn't care, that it wasn't my fault.
Blame yourself for other actions. Do not.
I guess he had a good point. I tried my best, and sometimes bad things just happen. So, are you okay after being captured?
Heavy is my heart. Homesick.
I wish I could help. If only I could reach the moon. Wait a minute, I'm building a skyscraper sculpture. What if I build it so tall that it can reach the moon?
Great idea that is. Great friend Zozo is.
We ran over to the sculpture and continued building together. Phew, this was a huge undertaking. We definitely were going to need way more materials than we had in our stash. We would go find more supplies tomorrow. That night, as we both sat and looked up at the stars, we saw an interesting constellation. Does that make you think of anything? On days 27 to 31, I spotted a wandering trader walking by with his llama. I ran out and flagged him down. Good morning, can I see what you're selling? I am in need of a lot of andesite.
Is that so? I don't have a lot on me right now, but I'm on my way to a quarry that has tons of stuff. I often go there to ply my wares.
A huge source of materials that I can use for the skyscraper? What good luck. Thanks for that info. I'll certainly be taking a visit there.
I got other stuff though, if you want to make a trade.
I don't have any money.
That's okay. You can buy on credit and I will come collect later. It's the newest craze. Buy now, figure it out later.
That sounded good to me. I looked at his wares and saw an enchanted iron chestplate and a better helmet. I selected these items and then bid goodbye to the trader. I'd have to remember to come up with some money later. I went over to where Luna was and let him know I needed to make a journey to the quarry. I told him to wait at the base and make himself at home. I'd be back as soon as I could. Eat all the frogs and bananas you want while I'm gone. I headed out and eventually found myself wandering through the savannah. At one point, I started hearing some weird laughing around me. Back up, buddies. Trust me, you don't want a piece of me. But they clearly did want a piece of me. They didn't waste time in jumping all over me. There were so many of them, and they were fighting like there was no tomorrow. I was able to take quite a few of them out, but with so many around me, they definitely got a few good hits in. My sword proved to be strong too, but I had to give these guys some credit. They may have been smaller than me, but they really fought with a lot of heart. Unfortunately for them, it was me who ended up taking all of their hearts. Eventually, they were nothing but dust. Look who's laughing now. Actually, I feel a little bad for taking them all out, but fish gotta swim and Zozo's gotta survive. On days 32 to 35, I spotted the quarry in the distance on a mountain. As I got closer, I noticed it was pretty quiet. I didn't see any activity. Where is everybody? I poked around the quarry, searching for someone. Anyone. Finally, I came across an office. I walked in and saw a foreman sitting alone.
Well, how do you like that? It's one of them big gorillas. I'll be mine. Never seen one of your types around these parts.
I came here to get some skyscraper materials. Where is everybody?
Shoot, you're out of luck, big feller. This here quarry had done shut down. Yes, sirree. Why, this quarry used to be a real resource hoedown, but we had to shut things down because of that gosh darn monster.
Monster?
As sure as I'm standing right in front of you, there's a terrible lizard creature snatching up my workers. No one dares work here anymore. It was an HR nightmare, and if I ain't got laborers, then I can't get no resources to sell.
Well, if I take care of that monster for you, would they work for you again?
I reckon that'd do it.
Looks like I had my next mission. Slay the lizard, get the quarry back into working order, get boatload of materials. I started searching around for the monster lizard creature. I jumped down the mountain and eventually noticed a cave opening. That seemed like a good place for a monster to hide. I crawled around the cave, following its twists and turns. Eventually, the cave opened up and there laid a giant Komodo dragon. It was snoozing. I cleared my throat. Hey, I'm Zozo. I was just popping in to ask that you don't kill any more of the workers at the quarry, because it's really bumming everyone out, and the dragon jumped at me and snapped. Whoa, I'm sure we can talk this through. Nobody has to get hurt. The dragon was not interested in negotiations. I had no choice. I had to fight back. This dragon had a mighty bite. I was striking the lizard whenever I could and dealing some major blows. But this lizard wasn't going down easy. There was a reason it had become king of the quarry. Komodo dragons had a terribly venomous bite. Thankfully, I had upgraded my armor. Otherwise, I might have fallen prey to this clever lizard's venom. The dragon chased me all around, but I could tell it was losing hearts. Fast. It doesn't have to be like this. You can go find another place to live. Don't make me do this. These workers just want to make a living. You don't need to keep eating them. The lizard would not listen to reason. Can't say I didn't try. With my sword drawn, I dealt the final blow. I vanquished the dragon. Ooh, and it dropped a pendant. Most importantly, I can get this quarry up and running again and get Luno back to the moon. I looked around the Komodo dragon's nest for a second to see if there was anything of interest. I didn't see anything, but then I heard a little voice.
Mama?
Oh, she was a girl dragon with a baby. My bad. This poor baby was without a mother, and it was my fault. I felt terrible. Hey there, baby dragon. I'm not gonna hurt you. I hope you can forgive me about your mom.
She wasn't my real mom. She was a really mean stepmom. Honestly, you did me a favor.
Phew, that was a relief to hear. Imagine if they had gotten along. This would have been super awkward. I told the baby that she was welcome to be my friend and to let me know if there's anything I could do for her. Then I headed out of the cave and back to the office. The baby followed at a distance. On day 36 to 39, I told the foreman that the monster had been taken care of and that the workers could come back now.
Yeah, well, ain't that just a kick in the pants? That's mighty grand. There's just one teensy-weensy problem.
Another problem?
You see, my workers ain't around no more. With no work here, they were fixing to make a new quarry of their own over yonder. But word is, that dog won't hunt. They's trapped in the middle of a newly formed lake after a big flood in that there area.
Alright, point me in the direction and I'll see what I can do.
Go that way.
I stepped outside the office and saw the little dragon poke his head out from a nearby mine. I felt so bad. She didn't have anyone to care for her now, so I told her she could come with me. I hope this wasn't a fool's errand. Eventually, we came upon the lake, and sure enough, just as the foreman said, out in the middle was an island with some small houses. I crafted a boat. We set out up across the water and soon reached the other side. Once we got on the shore, the quarry workers came out to greet us.
Are you the rescue team? We have been waiting so long. Monster! Killer monster!
Oh no, I should have realized the baby would trigger these workers. No, I took care of the monster for you. This is just a cute, harmless baby. There's no need to be alarmed. I am here to rescue you and take you back to the quarry. As I said, there's no dangerous monster anymore. You now have a safe work environment. So what do you say? Want to get out of here? The workers cheered. They were tired of being on the tiny island. I offered them my boat, but they said it wouldn't be possible because they needed to take all their equipment with them. That was quite the conundrum, but that's what I was here for, to fix all the problems. I sailed back across the lake and started chopping down a bunch of trees. Eventually, I had enough to construct a simple bridge. Before going back to the island, I found a cave and collected some cobblestone. After grabbing some of that, I decided it was a good idea for me and the baby to take a nap. We had had a really long day and would need the energy. On days 40 to 43, I started to construct a bridge out of wood and stone to get across the lake. Halfway through making the bridge though, I hit a problem. More like a problem tried to hit me. There was a shark in the water. I should be able to give this guy a nice big conk on the head. I reached down to hit the shark, but it bit me. I kept struggling to climb out of the water. I saw the shark coming for me. I'm done for. But just as it reached me, the baby Komodo swiped its tail, smacking it hard in the face. The shark turned its attention onto the baby, and she snapped her venomous mouth at the shark. It didn't stand a chance after that. Thank you for saving my life, little one. And I'm still sorry about your stepmom. She really didn't seem upset by it. By the way, do you have a name?
It's Bubblegum.
Nice. That's a cute name. I finished the bridge and made it back over to the workers.
Thanks, Mr. Zozo. We'll start heading back to the quarry with all our stuff.
That was good to hear. I hadn't expected so many bumps in the road, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Bubblegum and I got back to the quarry before the workers did, so I went to the office and let the foreman know the good news. He was so giddy that he was hooting and hollering.
We'll be up and running lickety-split. You'll be the first one to get what you need, and we'll give it to you on the house for all your troubles.
Sounded fair to me. I thanked him, and he let me know it'd be ready soon enough. On days 44 to 49, I returned back to my base with Bubblegum by my side. I told Luna about the drama and introduced Bubblegum. Then I noticed that the wandering trader was still hanging around. Hey, it took a bit of trouble, but I got things at the quarry back in order. They'll be starting production immediately. He was so happy to hear that. His line of work was no longer compromised.
You know, I have a network of other traders who could help bring the other materials over. That way you can get your stuff quicker. What do you say?
Sure, that would be great. Just let me know the cost.
Just put it on the credit.
Okay, I sure hoped I wouldn't live to regret that. Oh well. I noticed that Luna and Bubblegum were getting along really well. Hey Luna, I was thinking that Bubblegum could stay at our base. Are you okay with that? Luna loved the idea, so I started cutting out a spot to make room for Bubblegum to enjoy. Then it was time for some much needed sleep. On days 50 to 53, the first load finally arrived from the quarry. You people sure work quick. Talk about a speedy delivery.
We upgraded you to Wandering Trader Prime.
What's that going to cost me?
Don't worry about it. We'll just put it on your credit.
Okie dokie. I realized I was going to need somewhere to store all these materials. That was no problem. I built more of the skyscraper, but unfortunately, I realized the next hurdle. Glass. I needed a lot of glass. This project was surely exhausting. I know what will help me figure out my problem. Sleep. In the morning, I spoke with the traveling trader and asked if he had any connections to some serious glass stash.
You know, I do actually know of a glass factory, although it's some distance away.
Well, sounds like I'm due for another adventure. I'll set out now. I felt better leaving Luna alone now that Bubblegum was there to keep him company. I traveled through a few different biomes and eventually wound up at the glass factory. It felt like deja vu. I had a sneaking suspicion that this place was not in working order, just like the quarry. I entered the factory and saw that it was staffed by piglins.
You there. We have lost enough. Just leave us in peace.
I'm not here to cause you any trouble. I'm here to purchase some glass. Is there a problem with the factory?
Oh, there's a problem, all right. We've been overtaken by raiders. They told us they won't let us do any more mining for coal unless we pay them for access. But we're just piglins. How in the world are we to pay them?
That stinks.
I'm sorry, but I had Brussels sprouts for lunch. It makes me gassy.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Well, anyway, let me know how to help you. I'm pretty good these days at roughing up bad guys. Let me go have a chat with them. The piglins were excited to hear it and pointed me in the direction of the raiders. I was happy to get going because there was a really stinky smell around that piglin. I went in the direction they pointed me to and saw the mine was full of raiders. I'm ready to raid the raiders who raided the mine. No more Mr. Nice Kong. These dudes were slowing down my skyscraper production, not to mention being jerks to the piglins. I charged into the mine, muscles ablazing. I was tired of all this drama. I had a moon to get to. I didn't have patience for these punks. It's chopping time. They didn't know what hit them. I swung my sword and took out a bunch of them with ease. That's what I'm talking about. I got lower into the mines and saw diamonds all over the place. Sweet sparkles, don't mind if I do. Is that pun getting old? I don't care. I'm just going to keep saying it. I quickly mined a bunch of diamonds and then went back to kicking some mob bum. There were a lot of them, so they got a few hits in, but these guys were like pesky fleas. Annoying, but no match for what I'd been through. Sadly, my armor was getting pretty damaged. Once at the bottom, a vindicator with hoarding the stash. So, you've been keeping the piglins out of the mine so you can have all the diamonds to yourselves. Diamonds may last forever, but your reign of terror is over. But then it came at me hard. Now I was starting to get nervous. My hearts were starting to go down. Then I got a weird idea. The vindicator was instantly drawn to it, as if he forgot all about the fight.
If it fits, I seats.
The vindicator captain was trapped. Oh, I can't believe that worked. I jumped down and landed endless blows to Vindicator. If you sits, I chop you to bits. Finally, the Vindicator was no more, and I was left the champion in the room of diamonds. I looked around the room some more and also found some chests full of gold. I can pay back the traders with this. I really had come a long way since my time on that playground. On days 58 to 62, I woke up and took a bunch of coal and diamonds and went back to the glass factory. I walked in and they all squealed with delight that I wasn't dead.
Praise Cole, you weren't overtaken. Does this mean you won, or did you flee?
I'll let all this coal do the talking. I showed them some coal.
You got coal, but coal can't talk, you know. You are very strong, but you seem to have knocked a few marbles loose up in that noggin of yours.
I know, it's just a saying. Oh, never mind. Anyways, yeah, I got rid of all the raiders. Now you can go and get everything you need.
Huzzah! Now we can mine our business for free.
About that, you said you didn't have a way to pay the raiders, but why didn't you use the diamonds to pay them? Piglins seemed confused. They had no clue what I was talking about.
Oh, you mean these shiny rocks? Bless your heart. Those silly rocks are utterly useless. Yes, too hard to even craft or melt down into anything. Again, I think you might need to see a doctor soon about that head of yours.
Oh, brother. I'll just let them think what they want. They weren't the brightest bunch, but they knew how to make some good quality glass. That's all I needed them to know about. So, should I be able to get regular deliveries of glass soon? Piglins let me know that they would make sure I was their priority for sending glass to. And as a gift for helping them out, they gave me a furnace sword. It showed how much they valued coal over diamond. This sword was so cool. I thanked them for the great treasures I now possessed. I couldn't wait to show my friends what I had found. On days 63 to 66, I returned back home to my base. I had glass from the factory and now would get regular deliveries coming from the depot very soon. I was very excited about how things were looking up. I told my friends all about my adventures fighting the den of dangerous raiders at the mine. They were both so impressed and excited to hear about it. And then I said, if you sits, you be chopped to bits.
Huh, nice one, Zozo.
Yes, got it you still have.
I decided to craft diamond armor for each of us. Once I had the armor finished, I walked out and found the wandering trader. I was excited to fix my credit score with him. Hey, I'm ready to settle my debt. He couldn't believe I had enough to pay him. I gave him a giant amount of gold, and he was super happy about it.
Finally, my wife won't be so mad at me anymore for not getting paid for my labors all the time.
With the stash of new materials I had acquired, I began to add more to the skyscraper. You know, some windows, some walls, that kind of thing. This bad boy was getting some good height to it. Luno came and admired the work I had done. He said he was lucky to have a friend that cared so much about getting him home. I knew he would do the same for me. I also know he would like and comment on my YouTube videos, and you should too. On days 67 to 70, I was on top of my skyscraper when Luno pointed to something in the sky a good distance away.
What could that be?
Oh, I think it's a bird. Wait, no, it's a plane. No. It's the man in black! Oh no, he had found us! It'd be pretty hard not to see, I guess. I'm sure you could see it from miles away. The man in black was traveling via jetpack through the sky.
I'm sorry, but that alien must come with me. Give him up or I'll have to take him by force.
His name is Luno, and he is staying. Don't make me beat you up again.
I would like to see you try.
I jumped at him, but he flew off the skyscraper. Ugh, get over here and fight me like a man. He zoomed around me. Every time he got close, I would swat at him, but he was always just out of reach. I was running all around the skyscraper top. Then the man in black dive bombed me. Dude, I almost fell off. He dive bombed me again and I slapped him away. The next time, the man in black didn't come at me. He made a beeline for Luno instead. Luno was about to be taken. Luno! Luno held his little green hand up towards the man in black, and the man in black stopped moving in midair. The little alien had mind powers. Luno, you never told me you had special powers.
On the moon, they are not so special.
Here on this planet, we consider that a superpower. Now hold him right there, Luno. I'll finish him off. I punched the man in black's jetpack enough times that it malfunctioned, and he went plummeting to the ground. Look, he's falling. With style. We sure make a good team, Luno.
Thank you, friend. A great warrior you are. A good heart you have. A secret, I must tell you. Fell from the moon? I did not. Come here to seek help? I did. Being killed by a moon monster, my people are. In need, we are, for a champion. Told you I should have. Worried I was, that you would not accept the challenge. But now, I know you are the most brave hero. Sorry I am, for not being upfront.
Don't be sorry. I would be happy to help once we reach the moon. Thank you for being honest. Our conversation was interrupted by screaming from down below.
What happened to the MIB? maybe we should see?
On days 71 to 74, Luno and I got to the bottom of the skyscraper only to discover that the man in black was still alive. I felt kind of bad for him. Well, I felt bad until I saw he had bubblegum on a leash. The man in black managed to get his jetpack working and took off with bubblegum, leaving us shocked at the turn of events. This guy is the worst. I can't believe he survived that fall. And now he has sweet baby bubblegum. Luno and I were so sad. Why would he take her? It just didn't make sense. Did he think she was an alien? What did he want with her? I spotted something on the ground. Maybe it was part of the jetpack. It was a strange material. I didn't recognize it.
You okay there, Zozo? Sounded like there was a big fight happening.
A piglin delivery guy stopped over to check on us. Yeah, there's this jerk who's been trying to capture us, and he took off with our friend. He dropped this.
I've seen that material before. It was over in Stony Peak Mountain. Yep, definitely seen that stuff. But I don't know what it is.
There wasn't much to go on, but it was all I had, and decided to follow the clue. On days 75 to 78, I hurried and made it to the Stony Peak Mountains. It was beautiful up here. Lots of stony peaks. Imagine that. Atop the peaks, I noticed something that actually wasn't a peak. It was an observatory. Right on, that's gotta be what I'm looking for. I knew it wouldn't be a walk in the park getting up the mountain, and I was right. Mobs, mobs, mobs. Say hello to my little friend. I used my new furnace sword. I was on fire. I kept swinging and swinging, hitting them as hard as I could. Eventually, I made it out on top to the top of the mountain. The fun had just begun. I was at the observatory door, facing 2 robot guards. I don't suppose you'd just let me pass.
Turn back. You are not permitted to enter.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I came this far, so either you're gonna let me through, or I'm gonna rip your arms out of your metal sockets.
Hostile enemy detected. Annihilate.
Looks like it'll be the hard way. I dodged their weapons and got a hold of them and let it rip. Didn't take too much to disassemble these dudes. I kicked open the doors and went ape crazy. I really tore it up in the place. There were plenty more robots as I searched the many hallways, and sure, they dealt me some damage, but I managed to obliterate them. You won't be back. I fought my way to the basement, but there was no sign of bubblegum. I couldn't help but wonder if I had come here for nothing. What if my friend wasn't here? No, I had to stop that kind of talk. I still had to search to the top. On days 79 to 84, I headed for the top of the observatory, and what do you suppose? That smug man in black was waiting for me at the top. Bubblegum was in a cage next to him. Well, 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 if it isn't the man in splat. Get it? Because we tossed you off a skyscraper? I noticed there was a giant telescope pointed at the moon. Didn't anyone tell you it was rude to spy on people?
You don't know anything about me or this operation. I demand that you bring me the little green alien. I will trade you for your non-alien friend here.
Let me think about that. No. But you will give me back my Komodo dragon and leave us alone forever. And if not, well, then this conversation has got me really fired up. Let's rumble. We went head to head. This guy had all sorts of techie weapons. He knew he had to up his game against me. Clearly, he had expected this fight. We aimed, we hit, we blocked, we jumped. Why do you even want the alien? Just so you can torture him in your stupid little lab with your emotionally distraught guards? Yeah, that's right. I know all about your bagel incident. I won't let you hurt my friend.
Ugh, Fred, I'm so firing him when I get back. Listen, we aren't going to torture the aliens. I'm trying to protect it from violent animals, like you. And yes, we will study it a little, but nothing harmful. I saw that alien come down from the moon in my telescope. I've been searching for him ever since, and then you butted in.
We continued to fight, but I slowed down a bit. Hold on. We both want to help Luno. That's the alien's name, by the way. You'd know that if you were friendly for once, instead of using force to get the alien. He needs help. There's a moon monster destroying their lives, and I'm going to help stop it. We stopped fighting.
That explains a lot of what I'm seeing in my telescope. I think I had the wrong idea about you, and I think you had the wrong idea about me. I'm sorry. I see now that you were looking out for the aliens, Luno's best interest. Maybe we better stop fighting each other and team up instead. What do you say?
Well, as much as I was looking forward to kicking your butt King Kong style, I guess we can let it be. Now, can you let my baby friend go, please?
Yeah, sorry. We thought she was an alien too.
You really need to get out more.
So, what was your plan to save the Lunarians?
Building that skyscraper to touch the moon. Then, I'll go to the moon and face the monster. We got bubblegum out, and the man in black told me to return to the base and that he would be there soon. First, he needed some time to work on a tech weapon and started the trek home with bubblegum. A jetpack would have been handy, but oh well, walking was fine. On days 85 to 89, I arrived back to the temple with the baby in tow. Luno greeted us excitedly. He couldn't believe I had found bubblegum.
Nothing there is that you can't do. A hero you are.
I was excited to tell Luno all about the encounter with the man in black. I explained that he wasn't going to be a threat any longer, but in fact, he was going to help. Luno and bubblegum went inside to catch up. I was lucky to have found those two. I didn't have a family, and if I really was a King Kong, it sounded like I was the only one. Family comes in many forms. There's the family you're born into, and the family you make along the way. A wandering trader interrupted my monologuing.
I've been watching you. I'm moved by how much you care for your friends. It reminds me of our good friend Johnny. Rip. He was always sticking his neck out for me and saving me from things. In his honor, I'd like to give you an upgrade, free of charge. This will make you even stronger, if you can imagine that.
I thanked him profusely. What a nice guy. I climbed up into the temple and realized I hadn't had much time for renovating the temple. I wanted it to look impressive for the man in black. I added upgrades and a lab area for the man in black, in case he needed it. It took a lot of hard work, but after a while, I was able to get everything completed. That's when I heard some shouting. Oh, what now? It was a piglin and a delivery person. They weren't in any trouble. Quite the opposite. They were excitedly letting me know out that the deliveries were complete. Oh, thank you for your hard work. On day 90 to 94, I crafted the enchantment materials the trader had given me. I was able to fully enchant all my armor and gear. I was super excited about that. This armor is perfect. I was ready to finish the work on the skyscraper. I buzzed around, building it taller and taller and taller and taller. This skyscraper was truly a ridiculous height now, and it was practically out of the Earth's atmosphere. I steadily climbed to the very top of the skyscraper to see how much closer I needed to be to the moon. I realized I was having a hard time breathing. There wasn't much oxygen up here. I guess I hadn't thought about that. This could be my undoing. Just then, as if he had planned it this way, the man in black appeared beside me.
Nice work on the skyscraper, Zozo. It's looking pretty stellar. That's a word kids still use nowadays, right? At any rate, I made you the spacesuit to help you breathe out here.
Wow, I was really glad he and I were on the same team. I thanked him, and then he also gave me an item that would make me super strong.
Wait to use it until you're on the moon. With the change in gravity, it'll work really well. Just don't use it here on Earth. It hasn't been studied yet, and I don't think it'll have the same effects.
I guess that man in black wasn't so bad after all. On days 95 to 97, it was an exciting day. The skyscraper was finally complete. Now I really am king of the world. I knew that little tiny gorilla on the playground skyscraper would have been really proud of me, now that I had come a long way. Pun intended. Luno joined me at the top. He was used to the atmosphere and didn't need anything special to breathe. So, what do you think?
Incredible it is. Strange to be back in space it is. I am scared to face the monster, but with you by my side, we will.
I told Luno to go back down to Earth and that he didn't need to come to the moon with me this time. Instead, I would let him know when it was safe again. Luno listened to me and went back down. I built a small bridge to connect the tip of the skyscraper to the moon. The bridge reminded me of how it's important to stay connected by subscribing to the channel, so we can always connect you to our exciting new adventures. On day 98, I took one small step for me, one great leap for the Lunarians. Houston, the King Kong has landed on the moon. It was so cool being on the moon. This gravity was crazy. I started to bounce around to take in my surroundings. I didn't see a single soul, but I did see a half-destroyed moon base. Something had definitely been here causing trouble. It was then that I remembered what the man in black gave me. I pulled out the strength potion and chugged it down. I could feel the power coursing through my veins. Whoa, this feels amazing. I started growing like crazy, becoming a mighty King Kong, just like the one the explorer had told me about. He was right. I did have it in me to become a great Kong. Zong Kong. Zong Zong? Either way, I was mighty. And check out my hearts. Now that's what I'm talking about. All this commotion must have gotten the attention of the moon monster though, because he came out of his hiding space next to the ruined base. Prepare to meet your match. The monster opened up its mouth and breathed lasers at me. Whoa, I didn't expect that. I then crashed into him, knocking him off balance. He continued to shoot lasers at me. Ooh, those lasers are wicked hot. We rolled and brawled all over the moon. He had some really powerful attacks. They hurt and did some major damage to my health. I wouldn't have stood a chance if it wasn't for this mega strength potion I took, so I sucker punched him real hard. I opened my mouth to test out my supersized roar, but the sound waves didn't work right on the moon. Shoot, I was really hoping to use that ability. I would just have to make do with what I had. Heart counts for a lot, and I was doing this for the creatures I cared for. On day 99, the fight raged on, and I found myself losing. This beast was just too powerful, and I was sure he had advantages of being on his own turf. I was pushed towards my skyscraper. I had to make a decision. If I didn't retreat now, I could lose the battle altogether. I got onto the bridge and started destroying it as I ran across to the skyscraper. At least I'd have the last minute to regroup and heal myself before... Oh no, the beast took a running leap and jumped onto the skyscraper. I just let this heinous creature off the moon. Oh, this was bad. This was very bad. I couldn't allow him to climb down and start destroying Earth, and it was all my fault. I fought with all my might, and I was super weak now. Things are not looking good. I think this is the end. The monster got ready to deliver his final blow when suddenly he stopped. He was frozen. I looked around. To my great relief and surprise, I saw not just Luno, but a bunch of other little aliens that looked just like him. They were using their mind powers together, bravely and triumphantly. You saved me.
Saved us, you did. Showed us bravery, you did. Help Zozo, we must. Now, finish him.
They positioned the monster on the edge of the tower, and I used all my King Kong strength to knock him into next week. He fell from the skyscraper, down, down, down to his death. We had done it, together! On day 100, we were back at the Jungle Temple.
I figure you guys might like this big telescope for my base. That way you can check in on your family super easily.
I really misjudged you, Man in Black.
You can call me Kim.
Kim, I'm really glad we're friends now. Please feel free to visit anytime you like. It was time to say goodbye to my space friend. I didn't want to tell him, but I was super sad about him leaving. He felt like family to me, but he had his real family to get home to, and I would not get in the way of that. I guess this is goodbye. I'll never forget you. We all looked up at the moon together.
I'll never forget you either, because returning home, I am not doing. I wish to stay here.
I couldn't believe my ears. I was so happy to hear he wanted to stay. It was the perfect situation, and Bubblegum was really happy to hear that Luna was staying too, and waved at the Lunarians, waving back at us. On day 1, I spawned in as a baby Na'vi from the movie Avatar. I was surrounded by a bunch of other Na'vi, but I was the only baby. Why am I a baby? Are you my parents? Just then, Colonel Quaritch showed up with a bunch of soldiers.
Consider this a warning. In 100 days, I'm going to attack and destroy the Tree of Souls. Without the Tree of Souls, all the Na'vi will disappear.
Everyone around me was angry, and they attacked. It was no use though. We were no match against the Colonel and his men.
Quick, Zozo, take this.
My parents threw me a ceremonial bow and some arrows and told me to hurry and hide deeper in the cave. No, wait! My parents joined the fight, but they too were quickly defeated. I had no choice but to run away and hide in the cave. I have 100 days to stop the army from destroying the tree, but how can a baby like me stop an entire army? On day 2, I ran deeper into the cave. I had to be careful because I only had 4 hearts. Just then, I heard footsteps behind me. Someone was coming. I hurried and hid. A few military guys came running up and stopped in the tunnel.
Did you see where that little baby Na'vi went? Colonel is going to make us do 200 push-ups if we don't find him.
You mean that baby? Uh-oh, they saw me. I hurried and pulled out my bow, trying to hold them off. It's not working. I can't die already. Suddenly, something came running up to me. It was a hexapede.
On my back. Hurry. What's your name, little guy?
It's Zozo. What about you?
Nikayu. Pleased to meet you.
On day 3, Nikaru and I had reached an area deep in the woods. The space was filled with all kinds of creatures. Wow, I was wondering where you guys went to hide from the soldiers. Nikaru then brought me to the wise old leader of the hexapedes.
And what brings such a small Na'vi to a place such as this?
I told him about the soldiers and how they had ambushed my colony. I also told him that I had less than 100 days to save the Tree of Souls.
If they destroy the Tree of Souls, all life on our planet will disappear. We must protect the tree at all costs. You aren't planning on taking the whole army down alone, are you?
They took out my whole tribe, so it's just me.
You're going to need all the help you can get. I'm too old to fight, but please take these supplies to aid you on your journey.
Thank you. I don't know how I'm going to stop them yet, but I will do everything I can.
We believe in you, but be careful. Colonel Quaritch will not hesitate to destroy anyone who stands in his way.
I nodded and prepared to leave. Before I could get too far, Nikaru stopped me.
This battle affects us all. I'm strong and can help you in the fight.
I would love to have your help. Let's do this. On days 4 to 5, I decided it was time to start preparing myself for the fight. I went around punching trees and got enough tools to make myself a crafting table. With the crafting table completed, I then made myself a wooden pick. Let's get stony. Using my wooden pick, I mined a bunch of cobblestone, then used the cobblestone to craft a full set of stone tools. After I finished crafting, I realized it was starting to get late. I better start building my base. I can't risk getting attacked at night. I quickly got to work, building myself a base. I had found a giant tree and decided to build a base inside of it. I built rooms for both Nikaru and me to live in. It's just a simple base, but it should keep us safe for now. By the time I finished building, it had gotten late. That's when some spiders attacked out of nowhere. Oh no, I spoke too soon. I swung my sword furiously and was able to take them all out. Just then, I felt a burst of energy and gained 10 hearts. Oh yeah, I'm even stronger. Before I went to bed, I decided to set up some torches. No more random mob attacks for me. On days 6 to 8, I woke up and decided to check the village from earlier for survivors. As I looked around, I saw that the soldiers had totally trashed the place. Then I saw a girl running from a soldier. Hey, why don't you pick on someone your own size? The soldier heard me yelling and stopped running after the girl. Then he turned and ran toward me. I had gotten stronger, so I wasn't afraid. I used all of my weapons and abilities, but he was still really strong. It was an intense battle, and we ended up on a balcony. I swung as hard as I could and knocked him over the edge. As the soldier disappeared, I saw he dropped something. The girl he was chasing ran over and picked it up. Find anything good?
It looks like a map to a prison. Thanks for taking that guy out, by the way. What's your name?
My name's Zozo. What about you?
Neytiri.
Nice to meet you. What were you doing out here anyway?
When these soldiers attacked the village, I escaped during the fighting. I came back to try and find my parents.
It looks pretty empty here, but maybe the prison on that map is where they're being held.
I'll try anything. Let's go.
On days 9 to 10, Neytiri and I made our way toward the prison. We carefully followed the map and soon saw a small prison in the distance. That must be it, but it looks like there's no guards.
Let's get closer and find out.
Just then, a grenade was tossed in front of us, blinding us. When we came to, a tough-looking soldier jumped out and attacked. They must have seen us coming. I tried my best to fight him off, but he was too strong. This was a fight I wasn't going to win. Neytiri and I had no choice but to jump down the tree and run away. Once we had gotten far enough away, we paused to talk. It looks like we're not strong enough.
This all feels so helpless.
Don't worry, we can figure it out. In the meantime, you can stay at my base. On days 11 to 12, Neytiri and I arrived back at the base. I hurried and built her a room to stay in.
Thanks for looking out for me, Zozo.
No problem. I wanted to ask you though, what do you know about the Colonel and these humans?
I doubt I know much more than you, but when our village was under attack, I did overhear the Colonel saying he will rule over our planet once we're all wiped out.
We can't let that happen. I was feeling angry about the Colonel, so I decided to look for more materials. I soon found some iron and coal. Back at the base, I loaded up some furnaces and started smelting. Then I crafted some iron tools, along with some iron boots and leggings. Neytiri then came over to me and let me know he was feeling a little hungry, so I went out to try and find some food. After some walking, I found some carrots. Oh yes, he'll love these! I returned back to the base and dropped off the carrots to Neytiri, then headed outside to start a carrot farm. Now we'll never run out of food. On days 13 to 15, I wanted to get stronger, so I asked Neytiri if she could help.
The strongest warriors would train by hunting manticore, but only the adults. True warriors never harm the babies.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I left the base and soon found myself in a tundra. The manticore should be close by. That's when I noticed some manticore feathers on the ground. Aha! I must be getting close. I looked a little further when I saw two manticores up ahead, a baby and its mom. I started to sneak toward the adult when suddenly a couple military guys jumped out and took out the baby. Those cowards! They then tried to fight the mom, who quickly took out one of the soldiers. It wasn't enough though, and the other soldier took her down. I rushed in. What do you think you're doing?
The Colonel has given us orders to destroy all the animals. We can't have you Na'vi trying to get stronger now, can we?
That's assuming I'm not strong enough already. I charged at the soldier, angry at their disrespect. The soldier thought he was a tough guy, but in a few moments, I showed him up and took him out. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped a manticore heart. I picked it up and took it with me back to the base. Back home, I went over to Neytiri and told her what happened. Then I showed her the manticore heart.
That is what our warriors are after when they fight the manticores. Eat it.
Eat it? If you say so. I scarfed down the manticore heart, and to my surprise, I gained 6 more hearts. Now that's some powerful stuff. On days 16 to 19, I headed out to do some more exploring. As I wandered, I soon found an ogre village. As I watched the ogres living peacefully in their home, I suddenly remembered my own life, a time where I lived peacefully with my own parents. Those evil humans want to break up all these wonderful families. I won't let that happen. Speaking of which, a group of soldiers had just shown up, and they were attacking the village. The ogres all ran into their homes afraid. It was up to me to help them. Not today, humans! I charged in, using all the weapons I had at my disposal. These soldiers were tough, but with my training and upgrades, I was getting tough too. After a bit, I had won. A dad and his baby ogre came out of their house. He thanked me for defending the village, then offered me a jar to say thank you. Is this a jar of farts? I'll find a good way to put this to good use. Thanks. On days 20 to 22, I started heading back to my base. I was thinking about the jar of farts when I was attacked by a crimson mosquito. How do you like this? I unleashed the jar of farts, which took him out with ease. Well, that didn't stink. Later, I saw some iron ore, which I mined up. Back at the base, I smelted the ore into ingots, then crafted them into a chestplate and sword. With my new equipment, I returned to the prison. Maybe I'd have better luck this time. As I arrived back at the prison, I saw another stun grenade pop out. It was the guard. He fired his weapon at me, but I was able to sneak up behind him and knock him out of the tree. This guy was tough and managed to hit me with a poison dagger, which really hurt. Even though he had grenades and weapons, I was able to get him down to half a heart. Before I could finish him off though, he started to laugh. What's so funny?
Whoever you're looking for here is already dead.
I suddenly saw a vision of Neytiri's parents being interrogated in the prison. They refused to tell the Colonel anything about the Tree of Souls.
Then you will die. Goodbye.
Back in the present, the soldier tried to attack me again. He was weak though, and I finished him off. Inside the prison, I saw it was empty, apart from a necklace memento. I'll have to take this to Neytiri. Maybe it can help. On days 23 to 26, I arrived back at the base with some bad news for Neytiri. I soon found her. Hey Neytiri, I managed to get into the prison, but I'm afraid it's not what we were hoping for.
My parents are gone, aren't they?
I'm afraid so.
I thought that might be the case, but was hoping maybe I'd be wrong.
If it helps, I did find this. I gave her the memento. I could tell it really helped her feel better.
Thank you, Zozo. But hey, I have something to show you.
Neytiri brought me outside and showed me that she had collected some chickens. This was perfect, as I was starting to run low on feathers for arrows. I got right to work, building them a chicken coop, then bringing them into it. I then went out to get more supplies. I found more iron, as well as some diamonds. I made an iron helmet to complete my armor set, then crafted a diamond pickaxe. To finish it all off, I got to work improving the base. I wanted to make it a little nicer for everyone. When I finished, I realized it was missing something. I think it just needs to be a little bit more avatar-y. On days 27 to 31, I headed out to find the materials I needed. On the way, I ran into a couple chocobos. Hey, are you guys okay?
We're looking for our favorite food, nightshade berries. These soldiers kicked us out of our land, so we don't know where to find it.
I don't know where to look, but I'll keep an eye out. I invited them back to my base in the meantime, to which they happily agreed. I soon came across the soul lights I was looking for and started mining. Suddenly, a flock of pateras started to attack me. Hey, I'm not bothering you. Leave me alone. I managed to fend the pateras off, and then I finished mining up the soul lights. Back at the base, I used the soul lights to finish the decorations. It was looking really great. I then built the chocobos their own rooms to stay in. They were really happy about that. Then Nikaru came running up to me.
The soldiers are attacking my herd. Come quickly.
I jumped on his back and we rode off to help. On days 32 to 35, we hurried back to the herd. As we arrived, I could see the place was filled with soldiers. We've got to help them. I rushed in, knocking out as many soldiers as I could. The hex beads had really hurt them, so I was able to finish several of them off. That's when I saw a soldier fighting the elder. Hey, get away from him! The soldier hit the elder, a hit he surely couldn't survive. No! I rushed in and took out all of the remaining soldiers. I approached the elder, but it was too late.
Zozo, stay strong and keep fighting. And please, keep looking after my son.
And before I could respond, he died. Nikaru, I'm sorry. I didn't know he was your dad. All I could think about was the moment my parents died. My heart hurt for Nikaru.
It's okay, Zozo. Looks like we're both orphans now.
We still have each other. You can stick with me for as long as you want. On days 36 to 39, I decided to spend some time out alone. It had been a rough few days. That's when I heard someone call out to me.
Hey, you! Wait!
What's going on?
My house has been taken over by a boar. Everyone is too scared to help me.
Okay, sure. I'll help. Tell me where to go. I headed off in the direction the goblin had pointed me. I soon saw the cave he described, and when I went inside, the boar attacked me. Hey, don't be so mean! The boar was tough, but I finally managed to beat them back. I was about to deliver the final blow when a voice cried out.
Wait! Please don't hurt my mom!
I turned and saw a baby boar. I asked them why they were in someone else's house, but before they could answer, the goblin from earlier showed up.
What are you waiting for? Take them out!
Wait, something isn't right about this. Just then, the goblin went to attack the boar. But before he could do any real damage, I stepped in and took him out.
Thank you! That goblin was trying to kick us out of our home.
Wait, that's what he said you did to him.
He was lying so you'd come after us.
That's when I noticed he had dropped a note. It was from the Colonel. It read, "Destroy as many animals as you can, and you will be rewarded greatly." He's trying to turn everyone against each other. We've got to hurry and stop him. On days 40 to 43, I arrived back at the base. I felt bad for everyone who had lost a friend or family, so I decided to improve the base. I went around and made each room a little nicer. Now that's looking great.
I'm really worried about the herd. My father had really given them a home.
Then tell them all to come live here. Nikaru went to tell the other animals, and I got ready, preparing a place for them to stay. We were all going to be one big happy group, and I couldn't wait for everyone to arrive. Just as I finished up, the chocobos from earlier came over to chat. They told me they were now big fans of carrots, but unfortunately they were going to need their favorite food. Otherwise, they couldn't survive. Okay, don't worry guys, I'll find it. They explained what it was and where I could find it, then I hurried off. On days 44 to 49, I arrived in the location that the chocobos had told me about. As I was exploring, I nearly ran into the Colonel.
Aha! I knew I would find you here.
What do you want?
You keep attacking my men and saving all the animals. Stop getting in my way.
I'll never stop, not until you're defeated.
Good luck with that.
The Colonel waved his arm, and a super soldier dropped from a Samson aircraft in front of me. The Colonel chuckled and left us to fight. This was going to be my hardest fight yet. The super soldier was strong, bigger than normal humans, and had attacks I had never seen before. He shot rockets from a tube he was carrying on his shoulder. What lab did this guy crawl out of? I did my best to hit him with my bow, but it didn't seem to do much damage. The arrows weren't working. Looks like it might be time to try something new. On days 50 to 53, I kept fighting against the super soldier. It was time to stop fighting from afar and get up close and personal. Take this! I charged in and started swinging my sword. With me being this close, his rockets were completely useless. Now that he wasn't hitting me as hard, it was only a matter of time. At long last, I delivered the final blow. Looks like I'll be the one fighting another day. As I looked around, I saw the Colonel had been watching the battle.
I'll be back for you, Zozo. Mark my words.
I charged at the Colonel, but before I could get a hit in, he threw a stun grenade right in front of my feet. When the smoke cleared, the Colonel was gone. I'm the strongest I've ever been, but it's still not enough. I have to get stronger. On days 54 to 57, I remembered I was supposed to be finding the Chocobo's food. At long last, I saw what I was looking for. As I got closer though, I was suddenly attacked by 2 hammerhead Titanothers. Oh man, I must be on their turf. The 2 hammerheads were incredibly strong, working together to hit me with their attacks. It wasn't enough though, and I managed to take one out. Uh-oh, looks like the other one is really mad now. The remaining hammerhead charged at me, no longer trying to be strategic. It wasn't much longer, and I had taken them out as well. As it disappeared, I noticed it had dropped poisonous skin. I bet I could use this to make poison arrows. Oh, this will really help me out. I then collected the nightshade berries and headed back to my base. Back at the base, I met up with the Chocobos and gave them the nightshade berries. They jumped for joy and told me that they could now access their special power. Special power? You should have mentioned this before. The Chocobos explained that they can tap into the planet's life force and communicate with those who have passed on, but only for short amounts of time. So, my parents. The Chocobos nodded and then put their head down. There was a glow, and suddenly I could see my parents in front of me. Dad? Mom?
It's us, Zozo. We're so proud of you and what you're doing. Keep fighting. We know you can defeat the Colonel.
There was another bright light, and they disappeared. Thank you for doing that for me. Now let's win this fight. On days 58 to 62, I got to work planting some of the nightshade berries so the Chocobos would have a constant supply. As I finished, Neytiri came up to me.
Thanks for getting these planted. I've been enjoying taking care of the other plants, so I'll make sure these are good as well.
I thanked her, then left to try and go find some more diamonds. As I went deeper and deeper into the mines, I soon found a whole bunch of diamonds. Before I could start mining though, I was attacked out of nowhere. What are you doing down here, you creep? I then mined up all the diamonds and went back to my base. With my diamonds, I made myself a couple of pieces of armor. Then I headed out to the farm and made some improvements, so Neytiri could feel happy while she worked on the farm. On days 63 to 66, one of the Chocobos came running over to me. They told me they had spoken to a great warrior who had died long ago. This warrior told him about a powerful weapon that could defeat the Colonel. That could be the very thing we need to win. The Chocobos told me that it was in a different biome and told me where to go. I set off right away, and I soon reached the vortex. As I searched, I soon saw a temple, and I noticed there was a Leonopteryx flying around overhead. As long as he doesn't bug me, I won't bug him. I approached the temple and headed inside. This had to be where the weapon was kept. Suddenly, a Thanator jumped out. I took my sword, ready to fight. Then the Thanator spoke.
Wait, don't attack.
I thought you were going to attack me.
Of course not. I'm super nice. This temple is my home, but some other not so nice mobs have kicked me out.
Oh man, well I'm looking for some kind of ancient weapon here. Do you know anything about it?
It's possible. The temple is filled with all kinds of old relics. Clear the place, and you can take whatever you want.
Deal. On days 67 to 70, I followed the Thanator deeper into the temple. As we walked, I noticed several pieces of art and books that looked like they were centuries old. Eventually, we stopped outside a room, and he turned to me.
They're in there. Viper wolves, and lots of them.
I'll take care of it. You hang tight. I ran into the next room, and sure enough, there were a bunch of viper wolves. They immediately attacked, and I did my best to fight them off. My ticket to beating the Colonel could be hiding here. I had to win. Time to say goodbye. I kept swinging, and at long last, the viper wolves were all defeated. I heard a noise in the corner and saw there were some smaller Thanators hiding nearby.
Thank you, Zozo. This is my family.
They all thanked me, and I took off to look for the weapon the ancient warrior had mentioned. I looked and looked in every nook and cranny, but there was nothing. Shoot, the weapon must not be here anymore. I met back up with the Thanator and invited him and his family to live at my base, but he said they were happy here. I thanked him for letting me look, and then left to go back to my base. On days 71 to 74, I left the temple as the Leonopteryx circled in the sky above. I paused for a moment. Did you know this isn't my first adventure? You can watch more of my videos after this one is over. Just search for Zozo. Z-O-Z-O. I was getting closer to my base when I came across a group of soldiers. More of these guys, huh? Not for long. I charged in and started taking them out. The less pesky soldiers there were, the safer the land would be. Soon, I had taken them all out. That's when I noticed one of them had dropped a note. It said,
"To all soldiers, there is a Na'vi named Zozo who needs to be defeated immediately. I, Colonel Quaritch, am working on a special weapon to destroy the Tree of Souls. It will be done at the end of the 100 days, but this Zozo needs to be dealt with immediately. All soldiers will be on double shifts until he is destroyed.
It looks like I'm making a dent, but what is this weapon he's working on? I have to find a powerful weapon of my own, and fast. On days 75 to 78, I arrived back at my base and went to talk to the Chocobos. I went to the temple and searched everywhere, but I didn't see it anywhere. The Chocobo was really confused, as the spirits they talk to are rarely wrong. But unfortunately, they didn't have any other ideas. They promised to try and figure it out. I decided that in the meantime, I would improve the base. It was starting to look really good now. I could tell everyone was really happy, and I hoped it could always be like that. When I had finished making my upgrades, Neytiri came over to talk to me.
Zozo, I have some great news.
What is it?
I have been experimenting with the plants and developed a superfood. I want you to be the first to try it.
I picked it up and ate it down. It was delicious. Suddenly, I felt energy flow through me, and I grew even bigger, with even more hearts. Whoa, this is awesome! On days 79 to 84, I decided to test out my strength. I soon arrived in a new place and spotted the perfect test subjects. How do you like me now? I jumped in and managed to take them out in just a few hits. Now that's what I call power. Just then, I spotted someone watching me from afar. It was another Na'vi. He came over to me.
You're pretty strong.
Thanks. I can take on anyone.
You could be stronger though.
Oh, what makes you think so?
Well, I'm stronger than you. Check it out.
The Na'vi hit me, and he was right. He was strong. Ouch! Okay, you didn't have to hit me. I believed you. What's your secret?
Come, I'll show you.
The Na'vi then put me through a training program. He had a lot of good advice, and I was able to learn so many new things in a short amount of time. Once we were done training, the warrior tossed me an upgraded bow. Thanks, I'm feeling even stronger already. By the way, how did you get so strong?
It was my mission to ride a Leonopteryx, but I've never been successful. Now I don't even know where to find one.
I didn't know you could ride those. I actually saw one not too long ago. I could show him to you.
No, I'm much too old now, but I think you could do it.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Say, why don't you come live at my base with me?
No thanks, the wilderness is where I belong.
I thanked him for his help, then turned to go back to my base. On days 85 to 89, I returned to the base and saw it had been attacked. Buildings were broken and no one was around. Oh no, what happened? Where is everyone? I ran around the base, looking to see if I could find anyone. I soon found Nikaryu. He was injured and hiding in one of the ruined buildings. What happened here?
The soldiers, they came out of nowhere. They took Neytiri.
Oh no, I have to save her. Where did they go? Are you okay?
Yes, I'll live. Quick, they only left an hour ago. They went that way.
I hurried in the direction Nikaryu had mentioned, looking for any signs of the soldiers. Then I heard someone calling for help. Neytiri! I ran toward the sound, but saw it wasn't Neytiri. It was a dire horse, who was clearly injured. Before I could say anything, it spoke.
Are you looking for that girl?
Yes, have you seen her?
I tried to stop them, but they knocked me out of their way. They're moving quickly, faster than you can run. But there is another way.
What's that?
Nearby is a special plant. Blue orchids grow on top of that tree right over there. Harvest one of the leaves and rub it on my wound. Then I can carry you to them in no time.
Okay, show me the way. He told me where to go, and I ran off. I soon saw the tree. It was extremely tall, and the leaves I needed were at the very top. Let's get jumping. I jumped from branch to branch, doing my best not to fall. At long last, I reached the top and grabbed the leaves I needed. Sometime later, I was back by the dire horse. I applied the leaves, and he immediately hopped up.
Hop on, there's still time.
On days 90 to 94, the dire horse and I could see the soldiers appear in the distance. There was no time to waste. As we got closer, I could see Neytiri. She was being guarded by a few guards, as well as another super soldier. But this super soldier looked even stronger than the first one. I jumped off the dire horse and told him to get a safe distance away. I faced him. Let her go!
Come to save your friend, huh? You'll never win. Get this Na'vi punk out of my sight.
The normal soldiers charged at me, but I knocked them out with just a few hits.
Huh, you're stronger than you look, but not stronger than me.
The super soldier charged at me, unleashing a special attack. I didn't see it coming, and it did a lot of damage. This was going to be tough. You'll never take our land, our people. I took out my bow and landed a perfect shot, which seemed to disable his special attack. Now the fight was really on.
You'll pay for that.
On days 95 to 97, our battle raged on. He was madder than ever, now that he didn't have an advantage. Both of our hearts were dropping, and it was only a matter of time until one of us fell. Suddenly, he stepped back. One more hit, and I would win.
You think beating me changes anything? I've done my job already.
What is that supposed to mean?
The Colonel has already completed his weapon to destroy the Tree of Souls. We took the girl to take you out of the game. You're too late.
No! I jumped toward him and destroyed him for good. Then I noticed he dropped something. With this, I can do his same special attack. I quickly freed Neytiri. Hurry back to the base using the Dire Horse. I'm not strong enough to defeat the Colonel yet, but I think I know what I need to do. Neytiri nodded and ran off to find the Dire Horse and get back to the base. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm crazy enough to try. On day 98, I rushed back to the temple. The ancient warrior said this was the location of the weapon, but he never said it was inside of the temple. I looked up at the Leonopteryx. If I can tame it, I'll finally be able to be the ultimate warrior. The Leonopteryx kept flying around, ignoring me completely. I thought about it for a moment, then pulled out my bow. I aimed and fired. The arrow was a direct hit. The big bird let out a screech and headed right at me. Oh boy, I may have really stepped in it this time. The bird swooped down to hit me. I jumped to the side and tried to get on its back. I was close, but missed. Shoot, I've got to keep trying. The bird was interested in attacking me now, and I did my best to avoid it. Sometimes it hit me, but most of the time I was able to land on its back. Finally, after several attempts, it worked. Got you. The Leonopteryx was mad at first, flying around like crazy, but soon it recognized it had lost, and soon it was smooth sailing. We bonded through the flight and soon landed back on the ground. I hopped off as the bird flew away, and suddenly I felt the power flow through me, and I leveled up into my biggest, final form. At long last, I'm ready to take this Colonel down. On day 99, I returned back to the village where it all began. The Tree of Souls was nearby. I passed through the tunnels I had run through nearly 100 days ago. I had grown so much since then. Suddenly, there was a flash of light, and I could see my parents standing before me. I was so close to the Tree of Souls, it made it possible for them to show themselves to me. Mom, Dad.
Great job, Zozo. We've been watching your journey and are so proud of everything you've accomplished.
Thank you. I just wish I could have saved you too.
Don't worry about us, son. Everyone on the planet is counting on you, but we know you can stop the Colonel and save our way of life.
I will do my best.
We will be watching and supporting you. Do not lose hope.
There was another flash of light, and they disappeared. I soon emerged from the tunnel into a large cavern. I could see the final tunnel to the Tree of Souls, but an army of super soldiers were blocking the path. Oh no, how could I possibly get past all of them?
You won't be alone.
I turned and saw Nikaryu, along with all of the friends I had made along the way.
We will distract them. You go for the Colonel.
I don't deserve friends as great as you.
We don't deserve a friend as great as you.
I smiled and thanked them for being my new family. It was going to be a tough fight, but it was for our home. Everyone ready? Attack! My friends charged at the super soldiers, who were shocked to see that they were the ones being overpowered. As they fought, I saw a chance to run through the tunnel. I took it and headed in. Hopefully my friends could stay alive long enough for me to take the Colonel down. On day 100, I entered another large cavern. In the center of it was the Tree of Souls. It was still standing, but the Colonel was in a mech suit, shooting it with energy beams. Colonel, it's over. I'm here to stop you for good. You'll pay for the lives you've taken.
Stop me. Can't you see you're too late? This weapon can't be stopped, especially by a weakling like you.
You'll have to destroy me first.
I've spent 100 days developing this weapon. That will be easy.
The Colonel then turned and fired his beam at me. It landed near me, causing an explosion. The explosion knocked me to the side, causing a lot of damage. I hurried and got out my bow, firing off arrows as fast as I could. I got some hits in, but it looked like it wasn't doing much damage.
Arrows? Really? Do you see what you're up against? Give up now, and I'll let you stay alive as my pet.
I'll never stop fighting! He shot off a beam again, this time hitting me. It nearly took all of my hearts. I ran and hid behind some rocks so that I could hurry and heal up.
See what I mean? You have no chance, cowering like a small child, because that's what you are.
Just then, I saw a wood sprite land near me. A wood sprite? It's a pure seed from the Tree of Souls. I could tell it wanted something with me.
Accept me.
I closed my eyes, and the wood sprite flew into me. I felt myself get stronger. Suddenly, more and more wood sprites started to appear and start flying into me. The power of generations began flowing through me. I grew even bigger, and now had 100 hearts. I stepped out to face the Colonel again.
What? How?
You failed to understand the world around you, and so now you'll fail to defeat me. The Colonel yelled and started firing his energy beams at me. They still did some damage, but I barely felt a thing. I charged at him, sword in hand. I jumped into the air, slamming my sword down on top of him. His suit exploded, and he was destroyed. The world was safe once more. I celebrated with my friends. If anyone else tried to hurt us again, we would be ready.
On day 1, I spawned in as a Lego man. Looks like I'm a baby Lego man. Figures. Wait, it looks like the whole Minecraft world is made out of Lego. That's amazing. I looked around the desert I'd spawned into and saw other Lego people walking around. All villagers, by the looks of it. I've never seen anything like this. What's going on here?
Allow me to explain, Lego Zozo.
I turned and saw a more sinister Lego man with a scary-looking helmet and a business suit. He didn't look friendly.
I'm Lord Business, soon to be the new manager of this Lego world. I'm gonna keep things clean, orderly, and most importantly, profitable.
That doesn't sound so bad.
Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, to make profits, you need to cut costs. And I'm gonna cut costs by destroying all those who oppose me. Starting here!
He swung his hammer, and suddenly the desert was filled with explosions, tearing into the ground and blowing up all the Lego villagers around me. Just like that, I was all alone. I'm not gonna let you get away with this, Lord Business. I will defeat you. Lord Business just laughed and stomped over towards me.
I've got a tight business plan, Zozo. I'll have control of this entire world in 100 days. And unless you become a master builder, you'd have no hope of stopping me. And it's not like that's gonna happen.
I wanted to fight back and defend myself, but I was just a baby and I didn't have any weapons. That's when a swarm of soul vultures appeared and started chasing me. All I could do was run. There's only one way out of this. I need to figure out what exactly a master builder is and become one in 100 days so I can defeat Lord Business and stop him from taking over the world. On day 2, after running for hours and hours, I ended up leaving the desert and entering the savannah. I may not have any weapons yet, but at least I'm tough. 5 Lego hearts? Even my health and hunger bar look like Lego pieces. And I'd need those Lego hearts because I still hadn't lost Lord Business's gang of nasty soul vultures. They were tough and fast, and I still didn't have any gear to fight them off with. Don't you guys have something better to do than hassle a baby Lego man? As the soul vultures got closer, I could feel my energy depleting. It was almost nightfall, and now I was really in trouble. Then, flaming arrows went flying through the sky. Someone was shooting at the soul vultures. The flames scared them, and the flock retreated. Someone had saved my life. That's when I saw a Lego villager hiding behind some cover. Thanks for saving my life, man.
No problem. Name's Bruce. I'm part of the resistance against Lord Business and his evil plans.
Wait, there's a resistance? Please let me in on it. I want to help defeat Lord Business too.
Then you better follow me. It's dangerous to be around here at nightfall.
Before we go, do you perhaps have any food? My Lego belly is starting to rumble.
No problem, little man. Here are some cooked mutton Lego bricks.
On day 3, Bruce and I went to a village in the middle of the savannah.
The village provides cover for the resistance. All the key members are hiding out here. None of us want Lord Business to turn this world into his personal piggy bank.
Bruce took me to a secret building in the middle of town where he wanted me to meet the resistance leader, an Egyptian illager named Osiris, sitting in a chair in his private library. Everyone was gathered around the table, so I sat behind it as well. It's nice to meet you, Mr. Osiris. I'm Zozo. Bruce told me you're the leader of the resistance against Lord Business.
This is true. Bruce told me you wish to join us.
That's also true. Lord Business attacked me when I first spawned, and he told me he's gonna take over the world in the next 100 days. I could only stop him if I became something called a master builder. Osiris seemed shocked. He stood up and came walking towards me.
A master builder? He said those exact words? Master builder?
Yeah, but I have no idea what it means. Do you know anything about master builders, Osiris?
Legends tell of the master builders. They're Lego men who have mastered the sacred art of construction. Through training and special techniques, they can build anything. Some say they're so good at building, they don't even need to use weapons to fight. They can use building itself as a weapon.
I jumped with excitement. Oh my gosh, that sounds incredible! How can I become one?
It won't be easy, but it's possible. It will take training in the art of building, of course, but most importantly of all, you must be taught the secret techniques by the 4 master builders hidden across the world. And if we are to have any hope of stopping Lord Business, you'll need to do all of this in less than 100 days.
I waved goodbye and exited the secret building. On days 4 to 5, I began my first pieces of work and training. After all, I couldn't even think about seeking the other master builders until I'd completed some basic training. Tools! First, I gotta make myself some tools. So I went over to the nearby trees and started gathering up some wood. It wasn't easy to punch through the trees, but soon enough, I had enough wood to make a crafting bench, and then my first set of wooden tools. These look pretty cool, but a master builder needs better than wooden tools. Using my wooden shovel and pickaxe, I started digging into the ground until I hit stone, and collected enough blocks to build myself a full set of stone gear, including tools and a sword. Because I was now an official part of the Resistance, Osiris said I was allowed to build my base on the edge of the village, so I started using my spare wood and stone blocks to build the foundations of my base. The first step was building rooms for myself and Bruce, the Lego villager who had saved my life in the desert. It's always nice to have a friend living with you. Bruce hurried towards me, looking frantic.
Zozo, the building is gonna have to wait. I can see a bunch of zombies creeping towards us out of the savannah. We need to stop them.
Luckily, I had my new stone sword, so I pulled it out and ran in, ready to kick some moldy zombie booty. You're messing with a future master builder here. You're gonna regret this. And they did, because it didn't take me long to defeat the zombies and return to my base, glowing with victory. That's when I started to change. I upgraded, getting bigger and gaining 2 hearts. 7 hearts? This is awesome! On days 6 through 8, I was wandering through the savannah until I reached a forest. I was collecting more wood for my base when I saw a wooden villager being attacked by this big and ugly looking bug called a sectoid. But the wooden villager was fighting back, building walls between him and the attacking sectoid. I've never seen anyone fight like this before. Maybe That's when the wooden villager noticed me.
Are you gonna stand there all day, son? Or are you gonna give me a hand with this thing?
Oh, right, sorry. I ran in with my stone sword and joined the fight. The sectoid was tough, but with me and the wooden villager working together, we had a chance. Every time the sectoid tried to attack me, the wooden villager quickly built a little wall between us. Soon enough, the sectoid was exhausted and confused, and I was able to defeat it with my stone sword. He dropped some string. I guess it makes sense. He did look a bit like a spider. All that was left was me and the wooden villager. I wanted to know more about his special fighting skills.
Thanks for the assist, kid. Who are you?
I'm Zozo, and who are you?
I'm Master Red.
Wait, Master? As in Master Builder? Can you help me learn to be like you?
Sure thing, kid. Your training starts now. You're gonna help me chase a soul eater out of a cave near here.
Sounds like a plan, Master. Let's go. On days 9 to 10, Master Ren and I made our way through the forest until we found the cave he told me about. Before we go in, Master Ren, what's the first lesson? How can I fight like a master builder?
The first technique is the one you saw me using in the woods, kid. When your opponent tries to attack you, you build a wall between you and them.
Okay, I think I'm ready. Let's do this. I followed Master Ren into the cave, where the Soul Eater was waiting. It was even bigger and scarier than I thought it'd be, and the second it saw us, it flew towards us.
Now is the time, Zozo. Try out the technique I taught you.
But with the Soul Eater charging towards me, I panicked. I couldn't help it. I tried to build the wall between us as quickly as I could, but the Soul Eater just flew over the tiny barricade and started attacking me. In one strike, I lost a bunch of hearts. Uh-oh, I need to get out of here. I ran out of the cave and Master Ren followed me. Felt so embarrassed to lose in front of him like that, but he didn't seem to mind.
Perhaps I will need to train you more cautiously, young Zozo.
How about you come stay at my base? You can train me more there.
That sounds like a good idea to me.
On days 11 to 12, I returned back to my base with Master Ren and started adding another floor to the base. This way, he can have his own room. I hope this is to your liking, Master Ren.
Well, it's clear you have much to learn in the way of building. But thank you, Zozo. It'll do.
While Master Ren was resting up, I decided to put my building skills to good use. I created a custom crafting room where I could perfect my crafting skills and store my creations. By the time I was done, I saw that Osiris had arrived at my base, and he had something to tell me.
How's the training going, Zozo?
It's, going. What's up?
I figured it was finally time for me to tell you about what's really going on and why Lord of Business is doing everything he's doing. You see, creativity is a wonderful thing, and it's a skill that all master builders are required to develop. But the purest kind of creativity is the kind used to make people happy. The darkest kind is the one that Lord Business has fallen prey to. Creativity to satisfy greed. All he cares about is money, and everything that people create, he seeks to own, and he's willing to destroy anyone who gets in the way of his bottom line.
After hearing this story, I went out into the forest and gathered more sticks and wooden blocks. I made a little fenced-up area in the backyard of my base and herded some cows into it, as well as making a small wheat farm alongside it. If I'm gonna become a master builder, I need to be able to build everything. On days 13 to 15, I approached Ren, who was practicing in an archery range I had built for him on the other side of the base. Hey Ren, I was wondering, do you know other ways I can improve my building abilities?
Well, I suppose there is this handy tool I usually use. It's called a builder's wand, and it lets you build much faster by extending connected block faces.
What? You didn't think to mention this before in the cave?
Well, I have been known to be a bit forgetful here and there. Here, have one.
Ren tossed out the wand for me. Thanks. Well, hopefully you can remember anything about master builders since, you are one of them. Osiris said something about there being 4 master builders out there, and I've only found you.
Perhaps your best bet is searching the snowy tundra. I've heard tales of mysterious buildings popping up there. It could be the work of a master builder.
Then I guess the snowy tundra is exactly where I'm heading.
Word of advice, Zozo. Build yourself a bow first. You never know when it'll come in handy for you.
Before setting off for the snowy tundra, I tested out the builder's wand, and sure enough, it makes building walls much easier. This tool is really useful. I also followed Ren's advice and made myself a bow, just in case. All I needed were some feathers, and luckily there were a few chickens around, so I could craft the arrows as well. Better to have a bow and not need it, right? I made my way across the map to the snowy tundra. Part of me hoped I'd find the next master builder waiting for me, but it turned out that the snowy tundra was huge. It'd take me forever to find someone here. But it didn't take long for a mutant snow golem to find me and start attacking. You must work for Lord Business. Jeez, is there anyone outside the village who doesn't work for that guy? I tried my best to use Master Ren's technique, building walls in front of the attacking snow golem, but he was still too fast for me, even with the builder's wand. In the end, I kept my distance and finished him off with the bow. I don't know if I'm ever gonna be good enough to be a master builder at this rate. But the mutant snow golem did drop something, a builder's potion, which helps the speed of my mining and building. Just what the doctor ordered. I returned to my base and took the potion, practicing by digging a huge hole near my base and collecting a bunch of stone blocks. It was a good exercise because soon enough, I leveled up and gained 2 more hearts. 9 hearts? This is rad! On days 16 to 19, I continued exploring, hoping I might find another master builder hiding inside some ancient ruins. This place is so old and spooky. It seems just like the kind of place an old master would hang out. But I was half right. I didn't find a master builder here, but I did find an ancient sign that might lead me to one. It read, "He who seeks to reach the peak of skill must climb to the peak itself. A master dwells where the air is thin." Thin air. Peaks? That sounds like a mountain. I know where I need to go now. But I couldn't celebrate too quickly. A group of Baracoa ancient people sent by Lord Business had cornered me. I needed to think fast. What would a master builder do? That's when I had an idea. Using all the stone I'd mined in the days before, I quickly ran around the group of Baracoa, building a wall around them that boxed them all in. It was quite tricky because they were surprisingly fast for their short stature. Eventually, I did succeed in boxing them in though. Before any of them had a chance to escape, I fled the ancient ruins, safe to fight another day. Master Ren is gonna be so proud of me. On days 20 through 22, I was making my way through the forest, gathering up materials to prepare for my journey into the mountains. These mountains are treacherous. I should really upgrade my gear before I go. While I was in the forest, some spiders attacked me. I was low on stone at the time, so I decided to defeat them with my stone sword instead of doing it the Master Builder way. Variety is the spice of life. Once the spiders were dealt with, I mined until I stumbled into a small cave system. I found some iron deposits. It took a while to mine all of it, but in no time I had enough to smelt and craft into a set of iron armor and tools. It made me feel so cool and powerful.
Maybe it's time for me to pay my old enemy a visit. With my new tools and my new power, I went back to the cave where I'd almost been defeated by the Soul Eater. But this time, it was going to happen the other way around. Come get me, Soul Eater. I'll give you something to chew on. I decided to go for a mix of standard and master builder tactics. As the Soul Eater flew towards me, I used my skill to quickly build a wall around the Soul Eater, trapping him in place. But there was no time to waste. I pulled out my new iron sword and one-shotted the Soul Eater right in the head. How do you like me now, you cave-dwelling meanie?
Having fun, Zozo?
I turned and saw Lord Business standing at the cave entrance and staring at me. Lord Business, what are you doing here?
Watching your pathetic attempt to become a master builder. You really think you can make a difference? You're not special, Zozo. And believe me, when my factories are complete, we'll never need people like you to make anything ever again.
And with that, he disappeared. Factories? That doesn't sound good. On days 23 to 26, I returned to my base, eager to tell Master Ren that I'd used my new skills to take down the Soul Eater.
This is an amazing development, Zozo. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Master Ren. I couldn't have done it without your help.
I have a reward for you, a special schematic for a new tool I've built. I think you'll find it quite useful.
Master Ren gave me a book full of instructions, and I went into the crafting room to begin building. By the time I was done, I had a multi-tool. One tool that can be a pickaxe, a shovel, an axe, a sword, and a hoe, all in one. This is a perfect tool for a master builder. I then used my new iron multi-tool to clear the mess we did outside the base. I also used it to gather some more food. I then took some time to build a wall around my base. Now nobody with bad intentions could get in. On days 27 to 31, I decided to finally follow the instructions I saw in the ancient ruins. As I arrived at the ruins, I saw the Barracoa were gone, so I made my way up into the mountains. It was dark, cold, and difficult to climb, but it was worth it if it'd make me be a better builder. I couldn't see any mobs, thankfully, but I was so high up that if I fell, I probably would have been done for anyway. Then, without warning, an Iceman landed on the ground next to me.
Who goes there?
What? Where did you come from?
That doesn't matter. Why are you invading my domain, stranger?
I'm Zozo, and I swear I didn't mean to intrude. I just came here to look for a master builder.
Then you found him. I'm Master Frost, the master builder of the mountains.
That's when I saw how Master Frost had gotten the jump on me. He'd immediately built a staircase behind me and used it to attack me from above. He really was a master builder. Want to come back to my base, Master Frost? I'd love to learn from you. I can even make you your own room.
Sure, why not? It's been a while since I've taught a young whippersnapper in the tricks.
While we made our way back to my base, we came across a rainbow tree. Frost built some stairs so I could reach the top, and I mined some unique material with my multi-tool. Super colorful rainbow grass blocks. I returned to my base afterwards and built a new room for Master Frost, even giving him a window made from rainbow glass blocks. It was almost done when Bruce approached me in a panic.
Zozo! Lord Business has sent some minions to attack the village. We need your help immediately.
On days 32 to 35, I rushed into the village with Bruce, ready to defend it from whatever attack Lord Business had unleashed on us. But I wasn't expecting to see a gang of ender creepers crawling all over the village. The whole village was completely overrun by creepers. They were chasing innocent villagers all around the village. Oh no! Looks like Lord Business really took his evil up a notch. Knowing it was dangerous to take on the ender creepers up close, Bruce and I pulled out our bows and started shooting the ender creepers, trying to take them out before they exploded. We had to be extra careful, but with the help of Bruce, we managed to get a lot of them. A few unfortunately slipped through the net, with awful consequences. Bruce suddenly looked towards Osiris's secret base.
Zozo, look! They're cornering Osiris!
Bruce was right! Osiris was being cornered by an ender creeper, slowly creeping towards him. We heard him beg for mercy.
No, please don't do this!
Before we could get close enough to save the Resistance beloved leader, we heard it, a Lego boom! The ender creeper exploded, setting off a chain reaction that blew up a bunch of the other houses. The whole village was in ruins. We rushed to check out Osiris's secret base, but all we saw was smoke rolling out. He was gone! Osiris, no! There was so much left unsaid between us!
Come on, Zozo, we can mourn later. We need to stop these heavy creepers before they can do any more damage.
It didn't take us long to defeat the rest of the Ender Creepers, but with Osiris gone, our morale had taken a serious hit. On days 36 to 39, I decided I needed to search further if I wanted to find the third and fourth Master Builder. That's why I traveled all the way to the Ice Spikes, a scary and desolate land even further away than the snowy tundra. Master Builder! Is there a Master Builder anywhere? I soon came across a Viking villager named Olaf. He was camping in one of the Ice Spikes, eating a Lego apple. He looked exhausted. You okay there, buddy?
Oh yes, just taking a breather.
You wouldn't happen to be a Master Builder, would you?
No, afraid not. I'm just a Viking. But I can tell you where to find a Master Builder if you help me deal with a little problem I'm having.
That sounds awesome. What do you need?
There's a bad snowman around here I've been trying to destroy, but I'm having an off day. If you can take care of him for me, I'll give you the information you need.
Deal. I wandered around the Ice Spikes until I found the bad snowman that Olaf had warned me about. Thankfully, I still had plenty of energy, so I pulled out my multi-tool sword and took him by surprise. Don't mess with this, Lego man. That's no joke. He even left a few carrots and snowballs in his chest. Maybe the Viking will want to play a snowball fight with me. I returned to the Viking and told him the good news. The bad snowman had been defeated.
Finally! I thought I'd never get to leave this stinking place.
Yeah, the snowman even left a few snowballs behind. Wanna play a snowball fight?
No thanks. I'm too old and tired for such games.
Oh, okay. So how about the Master Builder? Where can I find the next one?
I heard there's one of them hiding out in the swamp, but he likes his privacy. No offense, but you should probably get better before you go see him. If you're not experienced enough, he'll think you're just wasting his time.
On days 40 through 43, I returned to the base. Walking through the rubble the creepers left behind reminded me of the loss of our great Osiris leader. This is no time for sadness. I'm ready to practice and improve my building skills, so one day I can have my vengeance. I added some new furniture to the base, along with some bookcases that helped me study the craft of master building. Master Ren approached me midway through my renovations with a new request.
Zozo, my student, Lord Business's latest creeper attack on the village has destroyed many homes and left many Lego villagers homeless. You should do them a kindness and make room in your base for them to live in the meantime.
Master Ren made a good point. I invited in the homeless Lego villagers and started building another level to my base, complete with beds for them all to sleep in. Just as I finished, Master Frost came to me with an urgent message.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Zozo, but I've received some vital information. Some of my allies have followed up on the lead for one of Lord Business's factories. I need you to investigate and find out what's going on. It's also the perfect time for you to test out my attack from above technique.
Of course, Master Frost, I won't let you down. On days 44 to 49, I followed Master Frost's instructions until I reached the factory. It was a spooky looking building, so harsh and out of place in this fun Lego world. I need to stop this madness as soon as possible before it ruins the whole world. I crept inside, trying to stay hidden. But while I may have gotten really good at building, I was kind of terrible at creeping because Lord Business noticed me immediately.
This is private property, Zozo. Did none of your masters ever teach you not to trespass? It's rude.
It's also rude to be an evil overlord. What's your endgame, Lord Business? What's the big plan here?
Well, since you'll never leave this place alive, I guess I can tell you. You see this factory? I'm going to cover the whole world in thousands like it and fill it with builders like you. You'll all either work for me or be destroyed, endlessly building products that I can sell for a massive profit. All for me!
You'll never get away with this! I won't let you!
You don't have a choice. Remember the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. Speaking of which, meet a friend of mine, the Gold Warrior.
A Gold Warrior stepped out from the darkness, ready to fight.
Get rid of him. I'm a little too busy to stick around and watch.
Lord Business disappeared again, and the Gold Warrior charged at me. On days 50 through 53, I tried to use my skills to fend off the Gold Warrior. He was the strongest enemy I'd ever faced, and he wasn't giving up easy. No matter how fast I tried to run away from him, he caught up to me.
Can't we just talk this out, Mr. Gold Warrior? He didn't seem to think so. Instead, he kept trying to jab me with his lethal spiky club. I kept building walls between us, but every time, he'd effortlessly get around them. I was in real trouble. I tried taking him down with a bow, but he used his shield to stop the arrows. I got one shot in, but that was about it. This is not effective. I need to change tactics. I pulled out my multi-tool and activated the sword. I couldn't stop him with my master builder techniques or my bow, so I was going to have to fight him directly instead. It was a tough battle, and I lost quite a few hearts along the way. I even got down to half a heart. Luckily, I was able to build my way to safety and eat to regain my health. Phew, this is getting intense. But alright, here goes round 2. After a lot of fighting, I was finally able to defeat him. When he went down, he dropped his gold shield and a golden key. Oh, I wonder what this unlocks. I better keep it in my inventory. You never know when you need a key. On days 54 to 57, I left Lord Business's spooky factory and made my way outside onto the plains. But something was already out there waiting for me. A powerful Earth Elemental, ready to battle! The Earth Elemental started walking towards me, but out here in the open, I could use my master building skills. I quickly started using the Master Frost technique, building stairs so I could run up them and attack from above. It's over! I have the high ground! I leaped down onto the Earth Elemental and destroyed him in one direct strike to the head. He dropped a powerful Protection 3 enchantment book too. This will make me a lot more resistant to damage when I apply it to my armor. But I should probably wait until I get better armor and apply it then. With my mission complete, I returned to my base to tell Master Frost. I found him sitting on a bench by the lake as he made ice around him freeze up. I told him about Lord Business's evil plan and about my mastery of his technique.
Excellent work, Zozo, despite the frightening news. Go see Bruce in a few days. He'll have something valuable for you to do then.
Will do. Just make sure that all the fish don't freeze. On days 58 to 62, I decided that my base needed a little tender love and care, so I decided to expand the farm to also include chickens. Anyone else want a fried egg? But my base was only one half of my defenses. I needed to get myself better armor and tools too. That's why I used my multi-tool to dig into a mine behind my base, going deeper and deeper until I finally found some diamonds. Even though they look like Lego pieces, diamonds are still a master builder's best friend. I took the diamonds back into my crafting room and built myself a full set of diamond gear, weapons, tools, and armor. Then I crafted myself an anvil and applied the Protection 3 book to my diamond chestplate. Now I finally have some proper protection. Wait, what is this? I don't have a full armor bar. I guess Lego diamonds aren't quite as tough as real diamonds. After all that hard work, I built and added a new floor with a lounge and a small terrace to my base, so I could finally put my feet up and relax. I just knew it wouldn't last for long. On days 63 to 66, I approached Bruce the Lego villager and asked him what he had for me.
I've been closely observing your progress, Zozo, and I believe you finally have what it takes to meet the next master builder. I've marked out the swamp where he lives on your map. Seek him out and learn his teachings.
Thank you, Bruce. Wish me luck. Over the next couple days, I made the long journey to the swamp. It was a dark and humid place with a strong, musty smell. I really didn't want to spend too long here. Even less so when I saw a huge polypham running towards me, ready to fight.
Get out of my swamp, intruder!
The polypham was twice the size of me. I'd never stand a chance against him in a fight. I tried to run away, but he was way ahead of me. The polypham mined into the ground and rapidly tunneled below me before popping back up out of the ground right in front of me. Please, I don't want any trouble. I'm just looking for the master builder. The polypham immediately stopped.
Oh, why didn't you say so? Nice to meet you. I'm Master Tony, the master builder of the swamp.
Master Tony, I'm so pleased to see you. I was told you didn't like visitors.
Normally I don't, but today I need a hand. I've got a monstrous swamp leech infestation. If you help me with that, I'll teach you a thing or two.
On days 67 to 70, I followed Master Tony deeper into the swamp to help him take on his monstrous swamp leech problem.
Being a master builder, I'm pretty strong, but leeches have always squicked me out, so I appreciate your help on this.
It didn't take us long to find the leech infestation. I didn't want to get too close either. They looked pretty freaky, so I pulled out my bow and picked them all off at a distance, one arrow at a time. Leeches, be gone! Whoa, I should have been a pest controller.
Great job, Zozo. I'm glad I don't need to look at those nasty things anymore.
Happy to help. Now, how about that technique? Master Tony was a man of his word. He showed me how he'd mastered the combat tunneling technique, how you could use your pickaxe to dig into the ground to escape, or create pits for enemies to fall into. This is awesome! I only need to learn from one more master, and I'll be a master builder myself! On days 71 through 74, while searching the plains, I found an entrance leading to some kind of bunker. What could have been inside? And if you like crazy mysteries and wild adventures, you should search for more Zozo videos by typing ZO into your search bar. I prepared my diamond sword and climbed down through the door. It looked like some kind of secret bunker underneath, filled with bookshelves and books all marked factory plans. Wait, this place must be owned by Lord Business!
Clever observation, Zozo!
Lord Business suddenly came out of the secret bookshelf entrance and swung at me with his netherite sword. I barely dodged in time.
I made a mistake, sending my minions to destroy you before. I should just get it over with and destroy you myself.
I tried to fight back, swinging my sword at him, but every time he blocked my strike and fought back, knocking off a few of my hearts.
You're no master builder, Zozo. You're weak and pathetic.
As Lord Business tried to finish me off, all I could do was escape. In a frantic panic, I built a wall between him and myself and made my way out of the bunker while he broke through it. I wasn't strong enough to beat him. All I could do was run, but at least I escaped. This time anyway. On days 75 through 78, I continued making improvements on my base. It was one of the tallest and most impressive bases I've ever made, so I decided to build downwards too. That's why I made a cozy basement to hold extra supplies. I even installed a few beds just in case. Just as I was finishing up, Master Frost approached me with a gift. Zozo, I just wanted to tell you, I'm so proud of all the work you're doing. Nobody is fighting back against Lord Business as hard as you. I wanted to give you a gift as a token of my thanks. It's a potion of strength I brewed for you. Wow, thanks, Master Frost. I can't wait to try it. I drank the potion and felt myself getting bigger and stronger by the second. By the time the transformation was done, I was a full-grown Lego man with 12 hearts. Let's see Lord Business try to take me on now. On days 79 through 84, I decided to travel for a bit to flex my new strength and master builder abilities by taking on some bad guys in the forest. Lucky for me, a gang of bad guys weren't hard to find, as when things got dark, the woods soon became filled with angry skeletons. You guys have got to go down, no bones about it. They didn't appreciate my bad pun. Instead, they attacked me. I decided to put all my master builder skills to use in stopping them. First, I used Master Frost's technique. I quickly made a stairway and climbed to the top to get away from them. Can't get me up here. Then, I used Master Tony's special technique. I leaped down onto the ground from above and started digging until I formed a big square hole in the ground. It didn't take long for the skeletons to follow me and fall in as I climbed back out. Then I capped it off with Master Ren's technique and built a roof over the pit where all the skeletons were trapped, sealing them away forever. Wow, I'm almost a master builder. It's true, and I like your style, Zozo. I turned and saw that an Egyptian jackal had been standing there and watching me the whole time. He seemed impressed. I'm Master Joey, the final master builder. I hear you've been looking for me. You heard correctly, Master Joey. Can you teach me your special technique so I can finally become a true master builder? I won't give you a technique, Zozo, but I will give you a tool. The hammer. When you need it to destroy blocks in a hurry, you just can't beat it. Congratulations, you're a master builder now! On days 85 through 89, I came back to my base with new tools and new knowledge, only to find that we were under attack from a horde of spider creepers. They were crawling all across the village and exploding, destroying chunks of the buildings. I was terrified they would go for my base and the people inside. I can't let you do this. One of the spiders came crawling towards me. Fortunately, Bruce came out of one of the buildings with his bow, helping me fight back.
Don't worry, Zozo. You won't need to fight alone. I've got your back.
So we fought together, taking on and taking out most of the spider creepers until the rest ran out into the savannah. I've got to go get them. I can't let them get away this time. But as I tried to chase the fleeing group, I saw a baby Lego villager being chased by a spider creeper. I needed to save him. Don't worry, baby, I'll save you! I pulled out my diamond sword, charged in, and defeated the spider creeper!
Thank you, Zozo. You saved my life.
On days 90 to 94, after saving the Lego villager baby, I ran into the forest to chase the fleeing gang of spider creepers. You creeps are gonna pay for what you did to the village! I chased them until I saw that they were trying to hide in a nearby cave, but it was too late. I already saw them. I ran in, ready to fight with my diamond sword, until I noticed that I'd been lured into a trap. There was an ender creeper waiting for me, and he was wearing a name tag. It read, Vice President to Lord Business. Uh-oh, I guess you're not gonna be easy to fight then, are you? The ender creeper, VP, didn't even reply. He just came running at me, and I began to panic. Better use my Master Builder skills. I couldn't make a staircase in the cave, but I could still use Master Ren's technique and make a wall. I quickly built one up between us, but VP teleported right through it and hit me, knocking off a few hearts. Looks like this is gonna be my hardest battle yet. On days 95 through 97, the battle raged on. VP truly was the toughest enemy I'd ever fought, and often when I tried to hit him, he teleported out of the way. Why won't you stay still and fight fair, VP? You're the VP of being a lousy cheater. Being an ender creeper, he also had the ability to teleport lit TNT right on top of my head. Oh man, I've got to be careful and dodge his falling TNT. That's when I figured out the perfect method of stopping him. I used Master Tony's technique and created a hole, tricking the ender creeper into falling into it. After that, all it took was one strike from above to destroy the ender creeper. He even dropped a banana wabba brick, one of the strongest unbreakable pickaxes in the world. So of course, I grabbed it. In that moment, I had a vision, revealing the truth about Lord Business. Once, he also wanted to be a master builder, and he sought out the secrets to learn the knowledge and the techniques. But in the end, it was never meant to be. He was too greedy and impatient to truly learn. So instead, he decided he'd make others do the work for him and just take all the money. If Lord Business never even fully gained his master builder skills, maybe I really will be able to finally defeat him. On day 98, I prepared for the final battle, mining to gather extra blocks that I could use in the fight. Before I could leave, each of my friends came to offer words of encouragement. First, Bruce, the Lego villager.
You're one of the strongest fighters the Resistance has ever had, Zozo. I just want you to know, no matter how this ends, it's been an honor serving with you.
Then came Master Ren.
You have learned the ways of the Master Builder, Zozo. Remember them and use them wisely. And even Lord Business won't be able to defeat you.
And finally, Master Frost. Be creative, Zozo. That's the most important thing. And it's something you're brilliant at. Lord Business will never be able to take that away from you. Hearing all of this made me finally feel ready to take on the evil mastermind behind it all. On day 99, I made my way to Lord Business's business base, where I was sure to find him. On the way there, I saw a Lego kid playing in the savannah.
I believe in you, Zozo. You're my hero.
Thanks, kid. I'm gonna try my best. But when I arrived outside the business base, I noticed that it was heavily guarded by a gang of soul vultures. Oh no, how can I fight all of these, then take on Lord Business? I'll be outmatched. That's when Master Tony the Polyfam suddenly appeared.
Don't you worry, buddy. I'll take care of the soul vultures. You get in there and take that businessman down.
Thank you, Master Tony. I couldn't do this without you. Master Tony ran in and started fighting the soul vultures. And while he was distracted, I ran right past him and used the key, dropped by the gold warrior, to enter the business base. I knew that key would come in handy. On day 100, with my tools gathered and my master builder status secured, I entered the inner sanctum of Lord Business's business base. The place was huge, with tall walls and a massive fountain in the middle. I proceeded forward through a treasure room filled with gold piles. He was waiting for me on the other side of the room, sitting in his giant golden throne, laughing evilly.
So you're finally here, Zozo, but I'm afraid you're already too late.
It's never too late.
Ha! That's what you think. My forces are ready to roll out, and they follow only my command. This whole world will be turned into one giant corporation, and I will be the CEO. Only a master builder could stop me now.
That's the thing, Lord Business. I am a master builder.
I pulled out my hammer and prepared to battle the evil businessman for the sake of the world. He jumped off his chair, wielding a netherite sword, and tried to attack me. I quickly built a wall between us, and anytime he knocked the wall down, I built another.
Aren't you even going to fight back, Zozo? This is pathetic.
I am fighting. I'm fighting like a master builder. I blocked myself into the treasure room while Lord Business was breaking down my wall. I quickly started building a staircase. As he broke through, I leapt down onto him and hit him.
No, no fair!
You'd know these techniques if you ever bothered to learn them, Lord Business.
And you'd know this technique if you had money! Ender creepers, attack!
Lord Business pulled a dirty trick. Doors around the room opened and heavy creepers started piling in. He was going to blow me sky high.
Face it, Zozo, you're outnumbered and outgunned. I've won!
Not yet, you haven't. It was time to put all my training to good use for one last move. While the heavy creepers chased me, I mined a huge hole into the ground with my hammer. I pushed Lord Business into the hole. I looked at the creepers and they followed me as I jumped into the hole.
Zozo, what are you doing?
Finishing this! As Lord Business and the heavy creepers scrambled around, trying to grab me, I placed down the ladders and climbed out of the hole.
Zozo, you fool! Let me out of this pit! The heavy creepers will explode! It'll destroy us both!
Not quite, Lord Business. Boom! They all exploded, destroying Lord Business with them as I ran from the room. It was finally over. I'd become a master builder and saved the whole world.